Chapter 2393. Qin Yun released the white sun divine power and injected it into the youth's body. He poured a lot of it, causing his wounds to emit a lot of white light. The poison in the youth's body has been devoured and refined by Qin Yun. His wounds have been more or less treated by Qin Yun, but his shattered eyes are not so easy to recover. Following that, Qin Yun quickly helped the other two youths clear the poison in their bodies and finally helped them heal their injuries. The injuries of these two youths are very serious. Both of their hands have been cut off, and one of them has lost his thigh. Right now, Qin Yun can only help them clear the poison and stabilize their injuries. He is unable to help them recover their severed parts. If it was long enough, it wouldn't be a problem. Fortunately, these youths are all Tao gods. With their cultivation, as long as they have a stable and safe environment to cultivate in, their lost parts can be regenerated. While helping them recuperate, Qin Yun also learned that the three youths were brothers. Therefore, their appearances looked similar. Previously, there were 5 of them, but 2 of them were killed. They were also their brothers. Fortunately, they had retrieved the souls of the 2 purple sun elves. The 2 dead purple sun elves were the 4th and 5th brother. Their souls did not dissipate, which meant that they could still be reborn. The ones whose hands and feet were cut off were the 2nd and 3rd brother. Their injuries were more serious. After Qin Yun helped them clear the poison, they were extremely tired and directly fell asleep on the ground. The one who had his eyes knocked out was the eldest. His surname was Mei, and his name was Mei Dagwang. He looked like a youth, but he had lived for a long time. He was already dozens of years old. The bodies of the purple sun elves grew at a relatively slow speed, which was why he looked like a youth now. Although they were dozens of years old, this still shocked Qin Yun and Dongfang Bingbing. At such a young age, they were actually at the Tao God realm. One must know that many people might not be able to become Tao gods, even after using tens of thousands of years. We were born from the divine, universe, purple sun mountain. Most of us, the purple sun elves, move around inside the divine, universe, purple sun mountain and rarely come out. Mate Dagwang said, "This time, we came out with our elders. 2 days ago, we were separated from them." "How did you get separated?" Qin Yun found it strange and asked. "We were attacked by those huge beasts and were scattered. Those fellows are very powerful." Mate Dagwang said, "When we were fighting with the dual devil race, those huge beasts actually didn't come over." "How strange." Qin Yun put away the heaven and earth devil sealing goblet and let Dongfang Bingbing out. Dongfang Bingbing walked over and asked, "Those are divine sun heavenly beasts. Were you attacked by them before? What was going on?" "We haven't been attacked along the way. We're not too sure either. Our elders said that someone might have provoked the beast at that time. We never caused trouble." Mei Dagwang shook his head and also had a puzzled look on his face. "Not long after we separated, we met the dual devil cultivator, and those guys started killing us the moment they saw us. Qin Yun's 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda is still being attacked by the 2 devils." "How strong are the dual demons? Are you very familiar with this kind of thing?" Dongfang Bingbing asked. She was also very curious about a powerful creature like Deity Wasteland. "They appeared later than us, but their strength is stronger than ours, because they are all evil fellows, devouring living creatures everywhere. That's why they can grow so fast. One day, the dual devil race will definitely be punished by the heavens," Mei Dagwang said while gnashing his teeth. "Then how do we find your elders? How many elders do you have?" Qin Yun asked. "The purple sun elf race is very strong. Just a few youths are already so strong in just a few decades. Those old purple sun elves must be even more terrifying. There are more than a dozen of them. I can sense them. They are in that direction." Mei Dagwang pointed to a direction and said with a puzzled expression, "They haven't come to find us. I wonder if they encountered some kind of danger." Qin Yun said, "This place is too dangerous. It is very possible that they encountered other dangers. Big Brother Qin, can you bring us to our elders? After I find them, I will definitely let them properly thank you." Mei Dagwang said, "Our purple sun elf race will always repay kindness. There's no need to repay kindness. I only hope that we won't become enemies in the future. I, Qin Yun, am also a person who likes to make friends. Qin Yun patted Mei Dawang's shoulder and said with a smile, You recuperate properly. I will go out and kill those dual devil cultivators. Then I will go find your elders. Big brother Qin, it's best if you don't go out. There's so many dual devil cultivators, and they're also very strong. Furthermore, they have mastered many sinister tricks. It is very dangerous for you to face them alone. Mei Dawang hastily pulled Qin Yun back, not letting him leave. I can kill them. If I don't kill them, my pagoda won't be able to advance, Qin Yun said with a smile. Mei Dawang said, Let's wait patiently. As long as those guys can't attack, they won't continue attacking. Dongfang Bingbing also nodded and said, Master Qin, you should wait. You also saw those devil arrow insects just now. If you get hit, it won't be good. She really did not wish for Qin Yun to go out, because there are more than 10 dual devil cultivators outside, and Qin Yun has to face so many by himself. It would be better if he had the help of Star God, but Star God is currently studying the Star Firmament Divine Mirror and is unable to fight. It's fine. You guys wait for me here. Qin Yun smiled, then directly passed through the wall of the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda and arrived outside. After going out, Qin Yun saw a few black balls. They are the dual devil cultivators. Qin Yun is not afraid of those devil arrow insects. Previously, when the devil arrow insects wanted to attack him, they failed and were all killed by him in an instant. After he came out, he began to release a very strong super gravity domain that covered all directions. Those dual devil cultivators' perception is extremely strong. Just as Qin Yun came out, the dual devil cultivators who were attacking the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda in other places immediately rushed over. However, just as they entered Qin Yun's supergravity domain, their bodies were wrapped up by supergravity. After their bodies were wrapped up by Qin Yun's supergravity, they were unable to move and their bodies floated around. With a whoosh, the black balls of energy on the surface of the dual devil cultivators' bodies suddenly exploded. After the dual devil cultivators' protective barrier exploded, they used all their strength to activate the evil divine power on their bodies, and in an instant, they dispersed Qin Yun's gravity domain. After the ball of energy around the dual devil cultivators' bodies exploded, they saw their appearance. It is extremely terrifying. These monsters are all black. There are many black protruding bones on their heads, and they are covered in thick black armor. The most frightening thing is their abdomen. The abdomen of the dual devil cultivator is very bulging. There's actually half a person inside. Half of the body is inside the bulging abdomen. The black head is very terrifying. Its arms are waving as it crazily shouted at Qin Yun. Upon closer inspection, one can discover that each of the dual devil cultivator's thighs are made of 2 legs joined together, so they look very thick and sturdy. The half person in their abdomen is not only terrifying, they're also very powerful. They open their mouths and spat out a ball of black stuff. It is actually the devil arrow insects. After Qin Yun's gravity domain was destroyed, he is secretly alarmed. He quickly released super gravity and wrapped it around his body, blocking the dozens of devil arrow insects that suddenly flew over. After the devil arrow insects collided with Qin Yun's gravity barrier, they were frozen and floated inside the gravity barrier. Hua! The nether sun divine flame burned, and those disgusting insects instantly turned into white mist. These things are a bit powerful. Qin Yun can sense that the divine power of the dozen or so dual devil cultivators is increasing. It seems like they're planning to fight with their lives on the line. Qin Yun's cultivation is limited. If he were to face the siege of so many dual devil cultivators, he would definitely fall into a bitter battle. He is not afraid. This kind of dangerous battle is exactly what he seeks, because this might trigger his heavenly lion Dao image to evolve into sacred heavenly Dao image. Roar! A sacred tribulation gate suddenly appeared behind Qin Yun. The tribulation gate opened, and a heavenly lion covered in flames roared and rushed out. This is the heavenly lion Dao image. Qin Yun's heavenly lion Dao image is not simple. The nether realm heavenly lion he often summoned before has now evolved into this heavenly lion Tao image. Its soul and consciousness are the same. Seeing the heavenly lion rush out, Dongfang Bingbing, who is inside the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda, is secretly alarmed. She knows that Qin Yun has 10 Tao images, but she does not know how many sacred tribulation gates Qin Yun has. The Tao image that came out of the sacred tribulation gate that Qin Yun released is not the sacred heavenly Tao image. It is only the great heavenly Tao image. Under Qin Yun's control, the heavenly lion Tao image charged towards one of the dual devil cultivators and directly attacked with heavenly lion fighting dragon claw. The lion claws swept out with a fierce flame. The claws are like a few fiery red sharp blades as they ruthlessly swept across the dual devil cultivator's body. With a crash, the dual devil cultivator's body was chopped into several pieces, and it is still burning with flames. In this scorching environment, the heavenly lion is like a fish in water, becoming even more powerful. The Xian divine veins inside the Tao image are constantly absorbing the intense sunlight from the surroundings, crazily absorbing the divine power of the myriad realms' divine sun. The heavenly lion killed a dual devil cultivator with a single claw, giving Mei Dagwang, a purple sun elf, a fright. The other dual devil cultivators are infuriated when they saw how powerful the heavenly lion is. They let out a terrifying cry and charged at the heavenly lion. The heads on the abdomen of the dual devil cultivator opened their mouths and spat out large balls of black gas. Those black gas balls are filled with devil arrow insects. The devil arrow insects they spat out are even larger and more poisonous. The devil arrow insects flew over in an attempt to pierce through the heavenly lion's body, but they were blown away by the flame wave produced by the heavenly lion. Those hundreds of devil arrow insects are the strongest ones produced by the dozen or so dual devil cultivators. They were not burned. After being sent flying, they immediately connected their heads and tails, forming a very long and large black rope. The rope formed by the devil arrow insects looks very terrifying. Chapter 2394. Those two devils rushed towards the heavenly lion and did not attack Qin Yun. It is as if in their eyes, the heavenly lion is more important and stronger than Qin Yun. Qin Yun doesn't know much about what kind of existence the two devils are. He only knows that they're a very evil species. And the two devils also don't know much about humans. They are now swarming towards the heavenly lion. They have no interest in Qin Yun at all. Don't tell me these guys think that the heavenly lion is their real enemy. Qin Yun is puzzled and strengthened his control over the heavenly lion. After the heavenly lion came out of the tribulation gate and killed two devils, it was tied up by a rope. The rope that tied the heavenly lion was formed by the devil arrow insects. The rope also has many sharp thorns that pierced into the heavenly lion's body. The heavenly lion is only a Tao image. It doesn't have a real body. It can be said that it is a special kind of soul body formed by gathering energy. It also has a very strong body. After the two devils surrounded the heavenly lion, they attacked from all directions. When they attacked, it was the human head on their abdomen. Balls of black, evil energy sprayed out from the sky and attacked the heavenly lion's body. The heavenly lion roared crazily a few times. Its body suddenly expanded and flickered with intense flame light. And the two devils' attack became even more fierce. Big Brother Qin, those guys want to devour the lion. Mei Dagwang shouted from inside the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. This purple sun elf also has a certain understanding of the two devils. They want to devour the Tao image. Dongfang Bingbing asked. It should be. Mei Dagwang nodded and said, those guys' cultivation method is different from ours. They are very interested in the Tao image. Dongfang Bingbing looked at the battle outside. She saw that Qin Yun did not participate in helping the heavenly lion and knew that Qin Yun wanted to help the heavenly lion Tao image break through. The heavenly lion Tao image is still a great heavenly Tao image and has already reached a bottleneck. It needs an opportunity to break through the bottleneck and evolve into the sacred heavenly Tao image. At this moment, the heavenly lion's body is expanding. The divine power inside fiercely surged out. The roar formed a sound wave that shook in all directions. Not long after, the heavenly lion seemed to have gone mad. Its body trembled and rolled. The roar it let out is also very scary. What will happen to the heavenly lion after evolving into the sacred heavenly Tao image? Qin Yin can already sense that the heavenly lion Tao image is different. The heavenly lion had accompanied Qin Yin for many years. It had always been by his side in various forms. Along the way, the heavenly lion would also be influenced by Qin Yin and change. The evolution at this moment could be said to be a huge transformation of the heavenly lion. Qin Yin did not go over to help. He believed that the heavenly lion would definitely be able to hold on and complete its training. Roar! After the heavenly lion went berserk for a moment, it finally let out a terrifying roar. The roar was earth-shattering, and the surrounding mist was blown away. At this moment, the heavenly lion was enveloped by the golden divine power and turned into a ball of light. Qin Yin opened his heavenly eye, but was unable to see the heavenly lion inside the blob of light. All he knew was that the blob of light was condensed from the myriad world's divine, yang divine power. The attacks of the two devil cultivators became even more ferocious, but they were still unable to shake the ball of light. Looks like it's going well. Qin Yin is very much looking forward to what will happen after the heavenly lion evolves into the sacred heavenly Tao image. The two devil cultivators did not know the current state of the heavenly lion. They only felt that it was a very good food for them, so they attacked with all their might. The ball of light surrounding the heavenly lion suddenly spun. When it began to spin, a wave of energy surged out in all directions. The dozen or so devil cultivators were instantly enveloped by the violent flames. These devil cultivators were indeed very strong. In an instant, they broke free from the churning sea of fire. The ball of light that enveloped the heavenly lion once again emitted a wave of fire. This time, it was accompanied by the heavenly lion's roar. Heavenly lion's heavenly roar. The sound wave brought with it flames, causing the dozen or so devil cultivators to cry out in pain. Boom! The ball of light that enveloped the heavenly lion suddenly exploded, and a snow-white lion rushed out. This snow-white lion's eyes were clear and filled with divine light. Its entire body was surrounded by white fireflies, and it looked mighty and sacred. When it was angry, its eyebrows revealed a fierce expression. On the top of the heavenly lion's head, there was a long and sharp horn. This was something that did not exist before. Let's go. The heavenly lion Tao image had already successfully evolved. With a thought from Qin Yin, the heavenly lion charged at a devil cultivator. Like a bolt of white lightning, it shot forward. The heavenly lion's body wasn't very big. It was the same size as an ordinary lion. When it flew over, it actually passed through the devil cultivator's body. The speed just now was very fast. Even Dongfang Bingbing and Mei Dagwang did not see what had happened before the devil cultivator's body shattered. Only Qin Yin could see that the heavenly lion had charged at the devil cultivator's body and quickly used the heavenly lion fighting dragon claw to tear apart the devil cultivator's body. Furthermore, it was a few consecutive claw attacks, which was why the devil cultivator's body was so thoroughly shattered. Seeing that the heavenly lion had such strength, Qin Yin was very satisfied. Mei Dagwang, the purple sun elf, was dumbfounded as he watched from inside the pagoda. He exclaimed, "Big Brother Qin is too powerful. He looks like he's only at the sacred god realm, but how can his heavenly lion deal with so many devil cultivators?" Dongfang Bingbing was also very puzzled as she watched the battle outside with a frown. Qin Yin did not participate in the battle himself. He only used the heavenly lion Tao image to fight. To be able to have such powerful strength, Dongfang Bingbing had no choice but to re-evaluate Qin Yin's strength. All along, in Dongfang Bingbing's eyes, Qin Yin was a person who relied on equipment to win. And now that she saw Qin Yin's heavenly lion easily face so many devil cultivators, she knew that Qin Yun's strength was definitely very strong. What Dongfang Bingbing and Mei Daguang did not know is that during the evolution process of the heavenly lion, because it faced the influence of the evil devil cultivator, when it evolved into the sacred heavenly Tao image, its body produced an overwhelming righteous spirit. It was mainly because of the influence of the overwhelming righteous martial spirit in Qin Yun's body all year round that the heavenly lion was able to evolve. At this moment, the heavenly lion's entire body was filled with sacred heavenly divine power, which was why he was able to restrain this kind of evil. Qin Yun could sense a very strong, overwhelming righteous power from the heavenly lion's body, so he thought of many things at this moment. So during evolution, it will be affected by the environment. The Tao image can evolve to deal with the current environment. Qin Yun thought to himself, "Only found out now." Ling Yun said somewhat embarrassedly, "Xiao Yun, it seems like the Tao image is very affected by the environment." She was a special Tao image, and her evolution was also affected by Qin Yun. Qin Yun felt that when evolving other sacred heavenly Tao images in the future, it would be necessary to choose different environments according to different Tao images. The divine heavenly lion easily resisted the evil divine power of the devil cultivators. Whether it is the evil divine power or the devil arrow insects, when they come into contact with the white radiance on the divine heavenly lion's body, they're instantly purified. The heavenly lion roared. The heavenly lion's heavenly roar contained divine power and sound wave attack. It was enough to make the devil cultivators dizzy and disoriented. Then, the heavenly lion jumped over and smashed a devil cultivator to pieces with one claw. This kind of thing is not too difficult to deal with. Qin Yun revealed a smile. Now, there are only 2 devil cultivators left on the battlefield. To the divine heavenly lion, it is just a matter of 2 claw attacks. More than 10 devil cultivators were killed by the heavenly lion in an instant. The sacred tribulation gate opened, and the white divine martial heavenly lion returned to the sacred tribulation gate. The tribulation gate turned into a beam of light and returned to Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun immediately used the heavenly lion fighting dragon claw. A gigantic phantom image of a lion's claw appeared on his arms. It is all white. It will be even easier to deal with evil spirits in the future. Qin Yun stored the heavenly lion fighting dragon claw and returned to the 9-sun heaven raising pagoda. After Qin Yun returned, Mei Daguang said excitedly, "Big brother Qin, you are too powerful. With your strength, you are definitely at the top of the younger generation in our race." "Oh, only the top of the younger generation?" Qin Yun said with a smile. Mei Daguang chuckled and said, "Big brother Qin, the older generation of our purple sun elves are still very strong. Don't look down on them just because we are weak." Dongfang Bingbing asked, "Master Qin, you have cultivated 3 sacred heavenly Tao images now." I still have a lot to cultivate," Qin Yun said with a wry smile. "Only 3. Dongfang Bingbing secretly sucked in a breath of cold air. She is extremely shocked. She knew that Qin Yun is a person with 10 Tao images. Now that he has only cultivated 3, he is already so powerful. This means that the 3 Tao images all have the Tribulation Gate's sacred heavenly Tao image. Don't worry, I will be able to cultivate all the sacred heavenly Tao images very soon," Qin Yun said with a chuckle. "Bing Bing, did you see that? Those 2 devils aren't strong at all. You don't have to be afraid," Mei Daguang said with a self-deprecating laugh. "We 5 brothers were beaten to a sorry state by those 2 devils. If not for Big Brother Qin saving us, our bodies would have long been eaten and our souls would have been devoured by them." Mei Daguang can sense the direction of their elders. Qin Yun is now controlling the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda to float in the white light mist to search for Mei Daguang's elders. Qin Yun also wants to see those powerful purple sun elves. They're a new race of the divine desolate, and they're also very powerful. They're the kind that are easy to communicate with. If he could rope them in, it would be a very good thing. The direction the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda is flying in is also the direction of the myriad realms divine Sunday. Mei Dawang's elders are also there. Gradually approaching the third myriad realm's divine sun, Qin Yun is also somewhat nervous. According to the information he obtained, there are many experts who want to compete for this myriad realm's divine Sunday. The two divine kings of the nine heavens and that mysterious and powerful Empyrean emperor are all very likely to participate in the competition. And other than these people, there are also other unknown experts who might already be waiting nearby. 2 days later, Qin Yun immediately stopped the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Because he used his heavenly eye to see through the dense light mist, he can see a huge object floating in front of him. He is sure that it is not a divine sun heavenly beast, but an island. There is actually a huge island floating near the myriad realm's divine sun. Beside the island, there are hundreds of huge divine sun heavenly beasts. Divine sun heavenly beasts are originally very big, and that island is even bigger than them. During this period of time, Qin Yun has encountered many divine sun heavenly beasts on the road, but none of them have attacked him. Chapter 2395. Dongfang Bingbing, Mei Dawang, and the other two brothers inside the pagoda are unable to see through the dense light mist, so they don't know how big the island is. However, they are very shocked after hearing Qin Yun's description. Qin Yun said that comparing the divine sun heavenly beast to the floating island is like comparing an ant to an elephant. This island is really huge. Maybe our elders are inside. Mei Dawang said, "What is the exact outline of the island? Is it square or circular?" Dongfang Bingbing asked. Qin Yun shook his head and said, "Neither. It looks like an irregular stone. I feel like it's a fragment of something." After Mei Dawang heard this, he hastily asked, "Is the island floating? Is it always in that position?" Qin Yun looked again and said in astonishment, "The position has moved. It is currently floating. Could it be revolving around the myriad realms' divine sun?" Mei Dawang and his brother's faces are immediately filled with shock. They looked at each other in dismay. "Could it be?" Second brother, Mei said in low voice. "Big brother, Father once said that after a divine universe purple sun exploded, the core inside cracked and turned into many fragments. Then those fragments floated towards the powerful divine sun." Mei Dawang nodded and said, "I also remember Father saying that. Our divine universe purple sun mountain is a huge fragment inside the divine universe purple sun. It also looks like a huge island. In that case, the floating island in front is a part of the divine universe purple sun core?" Qin Yun said in astonishment. Although he also has a divine universe purple sun, it is still a small one. It has just grown up and has not formed a powerful core. "It should be," Mei Dawang said. "Otherwise, the elders of our purple sun fairy race wouldn't have gone there. They must have sensed it. That's why they went there." Mei Dawang suddenly slapped his thigh and said, "I remember now. An old man in the clan said that if we can't enter the myriad realm's divine sun, we must find our second home." Mei Dawang said excitedly, "Could it be that the second home is that huge island? Wait, the third myriad realm's divine sun just formed not long ago. How did it attract such a huge divine universe purple sun core?" Qin Yun is somewhat puzzled. This core fragment might have been floating in the starry sky until the third myriad world's godly sun appeared and was attracted here. "Big brother Qin, what are you worried about?" Second brother Mei asked. Qin Yun said, "You are the fairies born from one of the divine universe purple sun cores. Do you think that the previous fragments are bigger than yours? Will they give birth to a stronger race?" When Mei Dawang heard this, he suddenly became worried and said, "It's extremely possible. If there's a powerful race on that huge island, then wouldn't our elders be in danger? You should have a way to contact them, right? Since you can sense them, there must be a way to send a message." Qin Yun said, "Yes, but we have to go out." Mei Dawang looked at Dragon 2 and Dragon 3 and nodded to them. "All right, I'll send you out. I will protect you," Qin Yun said. Over the past 2 days, Mei Dawang and company's injuries had healed quite well with Qin Yun's help. At that moment, their bodies were filled with abundant divine powers. Qin Yun brought the three brothers to the top of the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. With the help of the Great Formation, they can send out a message. Qin Yun doesn't dare to approach because there are too many divine, sun heavenly beasts around the island. They're densely packed all around. If the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda gets close and accidentally angers the divine, sun heavenly beasts, it will definitely be attacked. After arriving outside, Qin Yun once again looked at the huge island in front of him. Mei Dagwang and his two brothers are gathered together, chanting some incantation and releasing purple soul power. The soul power rippled out and rushed towards the huge floating island. Qin Yun is currently carefully observing the floating island. He can only use his heavenly eye to observe through the dense light fog. Although the light fog is obstructing, his heavenly eye can still see many things, such as the large number of divine, sun, heavenly beasts flying around the island. He can even see the different divine power inside the divine, sun, heavenly beasts. The divine power inside the divine, sun, heavenly beasts are not the same. Different colors represent different attributes of divine power. It is also because of this that Qin Yun is even more puzzled. Because the huge island doesn't have divine universe, purple sun divine power. Strange, it should be purple. When Qin Yun looked over, it is as if he is looking at a rock. There is no divine power fluctuation on the huge island, let alone divine universe, purple sun power. Big brother, it is very normal that you can't see purple divine power, Mei Dagwang suddenly said. If it is really like this, then it means that a powerful creature has already appeared on the island. They have restrained the entire island's divine power. So if it's like this, have you contacted your elders? Qin Yun asked. Not yet. What we can be sure of is that their souls are not damaged. They should not be in danger, Mei Dagwang said. At this moment, second brother Mei said excitedly, I contacted father. Soon after, the three of them closed their eyes and began conversing with their fathers. Qin Yun is very curious about their method of communication. He carefully looked at them and saw that their sharp fairy ears are slightly trembling and a faint purple soul power is rushing out. Not long after, they finished conversing. Mei Dagwang said with happy expression, Big brother Qin, my father and the others are fine. He said he will come over immediately. That's good. Qin Yun said with smile, and then brought them back to the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Dongfang Bingbing heaved a sigh of relief when she found out that she can contact the elders of the Purple Sun Elf race. She feels that with those powerful elders here, she and Qin Yun will be much safer. Now, should we go up to the island to take a look? Dongfang Bingbing asked in low voice. There shouldn't be any problem with that island, right? Mei Dagwang said with smile. My father and the others are fine. There definitely won't be any problem. That's right. Then there's nothing wrong with going up and taking a look. Although Dongfang Bingbing said this, she is actually very afraid in her heart. She has always felt that the island is not simple. After all, such a big thing appearing so close to the myriad realms divine sun and surrounded by a large number of divine sun heavenly beasts is definitely not a small matter. Sister Bingbing, my father and the others are very easy to talk to. Don't be afraid of them, Mei Dagwang said with smile. In my Purple Sun Elf race, there are also many elf sisters as beautiful as you. I will introduce a few to Big Brother Qin in the future. This caused Dongfang Bingbing to roll her eyes. Qin Yun shook his head and smiled. Dongfang Bingbing always has a worried look on her face. The main reason is that she is currently in a very dangerous environment, and with her strength, it is impossible for her to survive in this kind of place. Therefore, she's always very nervous. Not to mention Dongfang Bingbing. Even Mei Dagwang and the other powerful Purple Sun elves were almost killed earlier. Qin Yun and company did not wait for long before Mei Dagwang and company's father arrived. It is a very young elf man. He is wearing a purple robe and has a head of purple hair. The purple color of his hair is a bit darker, even darker than Mei Dagwang and company's. Mei Dagwang's father is called Mei Jia. As expected, he is a very easy to talk to person. When he came over, His face was full of smile. Other than having the appearance of an elf, Mei Jie's appearance is rather ordinary. He does not have that kind of handsome face. When he smiles, he looks very simple and naive, giving people a very honest feeling. Thank you, brother, for saving my sons. When Major saw his sons, he was also very distressed because 2 of his sons' hands had been cut off. Father, this is 4th and 5th brother's soul. It's all my fault for being too weak and not being able to protect them. Mei Dogwang said very sadly. It's all right. It's good that their souls are still here. Mei Jie smiled and patted Mei Dogwang's head. Brother Mei, what's the situation on that island? Dogwang and company said that it might be a fragment of the divine universe Purple Sun's inner core. Qin Yun said, That's right. It is a fragment of the divine universe Purple Sun's inner core. Mei Jian nodded. His expression suddenly became somewhat solemn and said, Brother, that island is rather dangerous. Do you want to follow us to the island? I want to go take a look. Qin Yun nodded and said, All right. Mei Jie looked at Qin Yun's 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda and said again, You can't bring this big thing over. It might anger the divine sun heavenly beast. Qin Yun let Dongfang Bingbing come out, then waved his hand and stored the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. He said with smile, Let's go. Mei Dogwang said in low voice, Father, Uncle Qin saved us. You should give him something. No need, no need. Qin Yun promptly refused. Mei Dogwang saw Qin Yun and Mei Jie call each other brother, so he also called Qin Yun uncle. This is for Brother Qin. Mei Jie promptly took out a small box and handed it over to Qin Yun. He said with smile, Brother Qin, don't refuse. Otherwise, I won't bring you to the island. Qin Yun can only take it. He opened the small box, and suddenly an incomparably scorching purple light rushed out. Dongfang Bingbing cried out in alarm. It's divine universe amethyst, and it's so big. It is indeed a very big piece of divine universe amethyst. It is as big as a watermelon. Qin Yun also has divine universe amethyst. It is mainly used to activate the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, and it is almost exhausted. Now that he has such a big piece of divine universe amethyst, he won't need to worry about energy problem when using the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation in the future. He has divine universe purple sun, but it has not produced this kind of divine universe amethyst. The few divine suns in Qin Yun's hands are either not completely under his control, or they are still in a very young stage. Divine universe purple sun and heavenly universe divine sun are still in a very young stage. As for the 2 primal chaos divine suns, they are still not completely under his control. Qin Yun pulled Dongfang Bingbing's hand and followed behind. They flew together with Mei Jie and the others towards the island. Dongfang Bingbing has the heavenly talisman made by Qin Yun, so she can fly in a light mist without being burned. Father, are there people on that island? Are they powerful? Mei Dogwang asked curiously. Yes, they are very powerful. There is a guy called Heavenly Venerable Emperor. He is very powerful. Your grandfather fought with him before and was almost seriously injured. Mei Jie said, Oh, that's right. The dual devil race's clan emperor is also on that island. We could take revenge on him. Chapter 2396. When Dongfang Bingbing thought that Qin Yun was about to face powerful enemies, she couldn't help but tremble in fear. She only hoped that when Qin Yun encountered those enemies, he would be able to smoothly escape and not fall into their hands. After the Star God was transferred to the 9-sun divine spirit, Qin Yun discovered that she was no longer studying the Star Dome mirror. Instead, she was helping the Star Dome mirror evolve. As for why the Star God could do it, Qin Yun was not very clear. He felt that it might be because the Star God had a deity position. The Star God divine positions that the current Star Gods held were extraordinary divine positions. It was very normal for them to be able to promote the evolution of the divine Star Vault mirror. Father, what are you doing on the island? Didn't you say you were going to enter the myriad worlds, Godson? Mei Dogwang suddenly asked. We were going to go in, but we were separated on the way, so we waited for you here. After Mei Jie finished speaking, He looked in the direction of the myriad worlds God's Son and sighed. Entering the myriad worlds God's Son is easier said than done. Father, why didn't you come to us? We were almost killed. Second mate grumbled in a low voice. I'm sorry, we underestimated the danger of this place. We thought that with your strength, even if you faced the divine, Son, heavenly beasts, you would definitely be able to escape. We didn't expect that the dual demons would attack you. These evil demons are not trustworthy. Speaking of this matter, Mei Jie was very angry. Evidently, there was an agreement between the dual demon race and the purple sun elf race that they would not attack each other. They are evil demons to begin with. How can they keep their promise? Mei Dagwang snorted. Their clan emperor is also on the island. Then it's useless for us to look for them. They will definitely not admit it even if they die. Mei Jie said, You've all been poisoned by the magic arrow worm, so there should still be residual toxins in your bodies. We can use that as evidence. Mei Dagwang and his brothers looked at each other before looking at Qinyan. Father, Uncle Qin is really amazing. He helped us get rid of all the poison and eggs of the demon arrow insects. Mei Dagwang spread his hands and said with a smile, We don't have any proof right now. Brother Qin is truly amazing. Mei Jie was also very surprised. After being poisoned by the magic arrow bug, it would take a very long time for the poison and the bug eggs to be completely removed. Yet, Qinyan was able to do it so quickly. Just this ability alone made him stronger than many of the Purple Sun Elf clan's elders. This is a very easy thing for us. It's nothing. Qinyan smiled. He is speaking the truth. With Nether Sun, he can devour, dissolve, and purify all kinds of poison. Qinyan suddenly saw a gigantic divine, sun heavenly beast flying over. His expression changed as he said in a low voice, A divine sun heavenly beast is coming. The few of them flew through the light mist towards the gigantic floating island. At this moment, they had arrived at the area where the divine sun heavenly beasts were flying. Don't worry, the divine sun heavenly beast won't attack us so easily. Mei Jie said, As long as we don't provoke the divine sun heavenly beast, we won't be attacked. Qinyan nodded. He pulled Dongfang Bingbing and carefully followed behind Mei Jie and the others. At the same time, he paid attention to the movements in all directions. Seeing that he was surrounded by those gigantic divine, sun, heavenly beasts, Qinyan felt a lot of pressure in his heart. Dongfang Bingbing could not see the gigantic heavenly beast in the light mist, but she could feel the powerful aura of the divine sun heavenly beast. This made her involuntarily hold Qinyan's hand tightly, feeling very nervous and afraid. Finally, they quietly passed through the barrier formed by the divine, sun heavenly beasts and landed on the purple sun heavenly island. When they were on the road earlier, they did not say much because they were worried that they would disturb the divine, sun heavenly beast. Now that they had landed on the island, Mei Dagwang laughed out loud and said, We're finally safe. It's not safe yet. This island is still very dangerous. Mei Jie hit Mei Dagwang's head and warned, Don't act recklessly. Father, why are there so many divine, sun, heavenly beasts protecting this island? Mei Laosan asked. There are divine, sun, heavenly beast eggs on this island. Those eggs are in the center of this island. Mei Jie said, Although there are many people on the island, no one can enter the center of the island. Furthermore, the divine sun heavenly beasts don't seem to be worried about people destroying the eggs. This is actually the place where the divine, sun heavenly beasts lay their eggs. Dongfang Bingbing took a deep breath and said in fear, Since you know, why are you still on the island? Aren't you courting death? Mei Jie said, I'm just here to take a look. I'm not here to take over this island. We don't dare. We're just here to investigate and see if we can find some ruins on this purple sun heavenly island. Qinyan also felt that the people on the island would definitely not dare to act rashly. If they angered those divine, sun heavenly beasts, they would definitely not be able to bear the consequences. Ruins? Were those? Qinyan asked. This island is a fragment of a divine universe, purple sun's core. Generally speaking, Most of the powerful divine suns have life forms that form an extremely powerful civilization. Mei Jie said, "We, the Purple Sun Elves, are most likely the continuation of this powerful civilization. We are in our race's divine universe Purple Sunday Sun Mountain. We found many ruins." So that's how it is. To be able to survive in a powerful divine sun, one must be very strong to be able to develop one's own powerful civilization. Qin Yin also thought of many things. For example, how did such a huge divine universe, Purple Sun, get destroyed? Qin Yun's understanding of the divine universe, Purple Sun, is not much. He is very sure that no matter in the divine world, the divine universe, Purple Sun, is a very rare divine Sunday. A divine universe, Purple Sun, that can grow to become extremely large is even rarer. If such a large divine sun was not destroyed by itself, but by someone else, just thinking about it is terrifying. As Qin Yin walked, he observed his surroundings. From time to time, he would pick up stones and pinch them. The stones and soil of this Purple Sun heavenly island are not purple. Furthermore, the Purple Sun divine power contained within them is very thin. Could it be that the divine universe Purple Sun has burned out? Qin Yin said with frown, "That's not right. Normally, after a powerful divine sun self-destructs, it would not crack open such a large fragment." Uncle Qin, then what is the reason for the appearance of such a large fragment? Mei Dogwang is also very curious. Due to the influence of external forces, the divine universe Purple Sun shattered into pieces. Qin Yin said, "I can only think of this reason." Mei Jie said, "Brother Qin, this Purple Sun heavenly island does not have any Purple Sun divine power. The main reason is because the divine power is gathered at the center of the island." Qin Yin immediately thought of something. If such a situation really occurred, it meant that there might be a nether sun in the middle of the island, which is why a large amount of Purple Sun divine power was gathered at the center. If there is a nether sun and we can obtain it, that would be a good thing. Ling Yuner said with smile, "Little Yun, you're going to cultivate the nether sun Tao image next, right? When the nether sun Tao image evolves into the sacred heavenly Tao image, if it devours another nether sun, it will definitely become even stronger." Qin Yin does not have such thoughts now because this island is the lair of the divine sun heavenly beasts. If he were to act recklessly here, he would definitely be hunted down by the divine sun heavenly beasts. The huge divine sun heavenly beasts looked very docile, but that did not mean that they would not chase after people. Qin Yun's final goal was to enter the myriad world divine sunland, so he could not act recklessly. "Father, did this island give birth to any humans?" Mei Dogwang said. "Or is it that there are only divine sun heavenly beasts here? There's a very powerful clan here. Our understanding of this island was told to us by the people of that clan." Mei Jie said, "The people of that clan are very special. They insist that the Purple Sun heavenly island belongs to them, and they are very strong. There is a powerful clan on this island." Qin Yin became even more cautious. A clan that could survive and grow in this kind of environment must be very powerful. What kind of clan is it? Is it easy to communicate with them? Qin Yin asked. "They are called the 8 Tao clan. They were born with 8 Tao images, and every Tao image is the same. Also, although they have many Tao images, their growth is not restricted." A trace of anger appeared on Mei Jie's face as he said, "I think these guys should be called the Tyrant Tao clan." Just by saying this, Qin Yun and the others understood what kind of trash the 8 Tao clan is. What's wrong with them? Why are they bullying our Purple Sun elf clan? Mei Dogwang immediately asked in a bad mood. The Purple Sun heavenly island does not belong to them. It should be the divine sun heavenly beasts. Otherwise, they would not be able to lay eggs in the central region. Mei Jie said angrily, "The 8 Tao clan has always wanted to attack the central region and destroy the eggs of the divine sun heavenly beasts." Qin Yin did not say anything. He only felt that this island is not simple. The divine sun heavenly beasts should be the guardians of the myriad worlds divine Sunday. If the myriad worlds divine sun heavenly beasts were able to capture this massive violet sun heavenly stone from beyond the heavens and use it as an island for the divine sun heavenly beasts to lay their eggs, then it definitely belonged to them. The 8 Dao clan should have appeared later on. The 8 Dao clan came to this island very early. That is why they said that this island belongs to them. Brother May, if they want to take this island, the divine sun heavenly beasts will definitely not agree. Qin Yun patted Mei Jie's shoulder and said with smile, when the time comes, they won't even know how they died. The 8 Dao clan will now join forces with many people to attack the central region of the island and occupy it. Then they will attack the myriad world divine sun. Mei Jie shook his head and sighed. The people from 8 Dao clan are all very greedy. They want to kill those divine sun heavenly beasts and steal their eggs. This will definitely cause a great war and cause the myriad heavens divine desolate to become chaotic. At this moment, Mei Jie is very worried and sick at heart. He brought Qin Yun and the others and ran on the road to find the other elders of the Purple Sun Elf clan. The Purple Sun Heavenly Island is enveloped by a huge steam drum. The light mist is isolated outside the bubble. Therefore, there are many strange trees and all kinds of flowers and plants growing on the island. They are all very resistant to high temperature. The people of the Purple Sun Elf clan are all gathered in a purple forest. They built tree houses on the trees and temporarily lived in these tree houses. Chapter 2397. Qin Yun had fought with the 2 devils before, so he was very familiar with their auras. And in the forest in front of him, waves of the evil aura of the 2 devils were drifting out. It was extremely tyrannical. Dongfang Bingbing immediately stopped and hid behind Qin Yun. She had seen those devil arrow insects before. They were disgusting and terrifying, giving her a huge psychological shadow. Uncle Qin, the 2 devils are no match for us Purple Sun Elves, Mei Dogwang said with a smile. If they come, they will only be courting death. Second brother Mei also smiled confidently. After we go in, we might be able to see their corpses. Qin Yun's expression remained grave as he said, a great battle took place inside. There's a very tyrannical aura of the 2 devils. As for you Purple Sun Elves, your auras are very thin. This means that during the battle, the Purple Sun Elves were suppressed before they could unleash their full strength. How is this possible? Meyer shook his head and said, although the dual demon race is powerful, it won't be that easy for them to crush us. Mei Jie, Mei Dogwang, and the others did not believe Qin Yun's words. Let's go in and take a look. At this time, Major also took out a purple longsword. It looked as if it had been forged from divine universe amethyst. Mei Jie walked in front and released his divine power to the extreme. Mei Dogwang and the other 2 follow behind Mei Jie. Master Qin, I'm scared. Dongfang Bingbing hid behind Qin Yun and held his hand. Qin Yun placed Dongfang Bingbing in a small room inside the 9 Sun Divine Soul and told her that it is a spatial magic tool. He told her not to act recklessly and to hide inside. After Dongfang Bingbing entered the 9 Sun Divine Spirit, she immediately felt a lot more at ease. What she is most worried about is that Qin Yun would not be able to take care of her during the battle, and then she would be killed. Or if Qin Yun escaped and did not bring her, a little slave girl, with him, then she would be finished. Qin Yun took out the sun-suppressing divine arrow and secretly injected divine power into the heaven-trampling divine boots. If he encountered the 2 fiend men, he would be able to attack with all his might immediately. Qin Yun followed behind Mei Jie and entered the purple forest. Not long after he entered, he felt a strong, evil aura coming at him. This was the demonic aura of the dual demon dwellers. Qin Yun had sensed it from outside. The reason why they could only discover it after entering was that the forest was actually enveloped by a barrier. This barrier could only be entered and not exited, and it was a very powerful one. We have entered a barrier. Qin Yun reminded Major, who was in front of him. Major's expression was no longer as relaxed as before. He could tell that something was wrong with the forest. Dagwang, don't walk so close to the front. Qin Yun reminded them and said, how about I take out my pagoda and you guys hide inside? No need, Mei Dagwang said. Although they said that, Qin Yun still decided to take out the Nine Suns Heaven-Raising Pagoda. Just as Qin Yun was about to release the Nine Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda, a black light suddenly flew over. The speed of the black light was extremely fast. Before Qin Yun and Mei Jie could react, the black light penetrated the upper bodies of Mei Dagwang and the other two brothers, creating a large hole in their chests. It was a type of extremely poisonous divine power. After piercing through the chests of Mei Dagwang and the other two brothers, it exploded with a very strong poison power, instantly corroding and melting the bodies of the three brothers. Dagwang. Major's expression abruptly changed as he loudly roared. Qin Yun promptly took a step forward and used the Nether Moon's soul-devouring ability to extract the souls of Mei Dagwang and the other two brothers. However, he was still a step too slow. He could only extract Mei Dagwang's soul and store it inside the soul-sealing pearl. Moreover, he was heavily injured. Second Mei and third Mei did not protect their souls well enough, so their souls were destroyed in an instant, and their bodies melted into a thick black venom. Qin Yun is extremely furious. Not long ago, these three youths were talking and laughing with him. They very respectfully and politely called him uncle, but now they have been killed. Major's eyes are also red with anger. He crazily rushed forward. Brother Mei, don't go over. Let's quickly retreat. Qin Yun knows that Major is Shun Tianjun, but no one knows what is going on inside. Major has lost 3 sons in one go, causing him to lose his mind. Qin Yun promptly followed while concealing himself. At the same time, he used his heavenly eye to look at the forest filled with black gas. After approaching, he saw that there are tens of thousands of dual devil people inside the thick black fog. The lower half of the body that emerged from the abdomen of the dual devil people are releasing blood-red divine power. Among them, there are a few dual devil people that are relatively tall. With a glance, one can tell that they are at the Shun Tianjun level. Major entered the thick black fog and sensed that something is amiss. He immediately retreated. The dozens of purple sun elves that lived in this forest have long been killed by the dual devil people. This is certain. There are so many dual devil people. Qin Yun can't help but feel shocked. If it was only a dozen or so, he would definitely be able to deal with them. Even if it was a few dozen, he would still be able to barely fight. However, there are tens of thousands of them here. Qin Yun immediately released the 9 Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda and 9 altars to form the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation. He also released the 9 Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda that flickered with intense blue light. Brother Mei, quickly come in, Qin Yun shouted. At the same time, he controlled the 9 Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda to release blue tentacles that extended towards Major. Major also sensed that there are many dual devil people here. He is extremely regretful that he did not listen to Qin Yun's advice. Otherwise, his 3 sons would not have died so tragically. After seeing the 9 Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda, Major immediately rushed into the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation. At the same time, thousands of black light beams flew over in a densely packed manner. They actually penetrated the 9-Dragon Heavenly Origin Formation and enveloped the entire 9 Sun Heaven-Raising Pagoda and the place where Major is. Brother Mei, Qin Yun shouted loudly, but Major still did not rush over. In an instant, he was engulfed by the countless intense, black, poisonous lights. Qin Yun let out an angry roar. Looking at Major, who has turned into a black blood paste, he is so angry that his entire body is trembling. His fists are clenched so tightly that cracking sounds can be heard. He did not save a single one of the father and son duo. The only one who saved Mei Dagwang's soul is a soul that has been severely damaged. The 9 altars also shrunk and quickly returned to the pagoda with black poison power. Mei Dagwang's soul was placed into the soul creation heavenly cauldron by Qin Yun. It can still be recovered, but it will take a lot of time. A large number of dual devil people rushed over and surrounded the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Qin Yun sat paralyzed on the ground inside the pagoda. He felt very sad and angry. He didn't know Major and the other father and son duo for long, but he treated them as friends. Because the Purple Sun Elves are a race that is very easy to communicate with. In the future, they can become allies and unite together. He still has the Divine Universe Amethyst that Mei Dagwang gave him. This is a thank you gift that Mei Dagwang asked his father to give him. These bastards. Qin Yun is infuriated. He also wanted to take action, but those dual devil people are just too strong, and there are too many of them. If he rashly charged out, he would definitely lose his life. You who are hiding inside, hurry up and come out. You won't be able to hide for long. One of the dual devil people laughed sinisterly. I am a dual devil emperor. Come out obediently, and I guarantee that I won't eat you. When the dual devil people spoke, both of their heads opened their mouths at the same time. The head on the neck and the head on the stomach have the same unpleasant voice. Of course, Qin Yun would not go out. It would definitely be very dangerous for him to go out. A large number of dual devil people are crazily attacking the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. In just a short while, the blue crystal on the pagoda's body has been dyed black. The nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda is covered with thick black mucus. It has become very ugly. Qin Yun is waiting. As long as these people leave, he will quietly go out and then use the Space Divine Power Pearl to quickly escape from this forest. It's impossible for these brutal and savage evil devils to set up such a powerful barrier. After Qin Yun calmed down, he suddenly thought of something. Xiao Yun, when you came in just now, did you look at the barrier? With your experience, you can definitely see what kind of technique was used to set up the barrier. Ling Yuner said, I didn't pay much attention to it earlier, but when I entered the barrier, I still have some impression of it. Qin Yun took a deep breath and then released a strand of soul to float out. The weak soul floated over and was not discovered. Qin Yun closed his eyes and controlled the wisp of soul to slowly fly out to touch the barrier. The location of the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda is not very far from the barrier, so the soul very quickly flew over. After the soul touched the barrier, Qin Yun immediately discovered something familiar. The weak divine power that gushed out of the barrier seems to be the divine power of the nine heavens divine race. This barrier was set up by the nine heavens divine race. Qin Yun is very certain. He clenched his fists and said, It must have been done by that guy. Divine King Jiangxian? Ling Yuner said, It's this bastard. He is indeed on this purple sun heavenly island. Qin Yun said coldly, The heavenly demon divine, king, should also be here. Ling Yuner sighed and said, Xiao Yun, if they're all Xintian monarch cultivators, then you are definitely not their match. Qin Yun took a deep breath and said, Brother Mei said before that the purple sun elf race is against attacking the divine sun heavenly beast lair, and the other powers on the island want to join forces and attack. He is speculating the reason why the dozens of people from the purple sun elf race were killed. The purple sun elf race is not willing to join them, and they are worried that the purple sun elf race will inform the divine sun heavenly beast. So they killed them. This kind of dirty work is done by the dual devil race. Even if the purple sun elf race investigates in the future, the other powers can push the blame to the dual devil race. Qin Yun carefully analyzed. He feels that his speculation is not far from the truth. The dual devil race and the purple sun elf race must have had a dispute. That's why the dual devil race is willing to do this kind of thing. Qin Yun is analyzing inside the pagoda when he suddenly heard the unpleasant laughter of the dual devil race emperors. Divine King Jiangxian, your great formation barrier is truly powerful. Those purple sun elves can't escape at all. We ate a lot of them, huh? The dual devil race emperors laughed loudly. Divine King Jiangxian is here. He is right outside. This is the mastermind behind the curse on Qin Yun's parents. Qin Yun secretly gritted his teeth. He can't see outside. The pagoda outside is wrapped in black mucus. He can only see divine King Jiangxian's figure through his heavenly eye. What is this thing? Divine King Jiangxian looked at the nine-sun heaven raising pagoda and asked. Chapter 2398. All the factions on the island have already decided to attack the central formation. This matter must be kept secret. If it is leaked out, the divine sun heavenly beast will definitely defend in advance. Not only will it increase the difficulty of their attack, it will also be even more dangerous. They can't bear this kind of loss, so they join hands to kill those few dozen purple sun elves to prevent the news from leaking out. Divine King Jiangxian also can't tell that it is the nine-sun heaven raising pagoda. He only heard of its name. He doesn't know what it is. Moreover, the entire pagoda is covered in black mucus. As long as we don't let that guy out, Divine King Jiangxian said. If he doesn't go out, he won't be able to leak the secret. Dual Devil Race Emperor said. The guy inside the pagoda is a human, not a purple sun elf. Divine King Jiangxian also laughed. That's for the best. So many purple sun elves have died. Their elf emperor might bring people over. We could just frame that guy. Divine King Jiangxian. Then you have to clean up this place. Don't let our dual devil race be exposed. Dual Devil Race Emperor said with mischievous laugh. This forest has a large amount of dual devil race's evil aura. Don't worry, we will take care of it. What you need to do now is to properly prepare. When the time comes to attack the heavenly beast lair, you will be the main force. Divine King Jiangxian said with smile. After Qin Yin heard this from inside the pagoda, he realized that the dual devil race is very stupid. Not to mention doing the dirty work, they are also the scapegoat. When attacking the heavenly beast lair, they are the cannon fodder at the very front. Although the dual devil race is very stupid, their strength is not bad, and they are born with it. You want to push the blame to me? Not that easy. Qin Yin took out the spirit creation heavenly cauldron and looked at it. Mei Daguang's broken soul is recovering very slowly. There is no other way. He can only wait patiently. As long as Mei Daguang's soul recovers, it will prove that he did not kill dozens of purple sun elf race people. Qin Yin just used a tool to record the conversation between Divine King Jiangxian and the dual devil race emperor. He lied down inside the pagoda and is planning his next move. On this violet sun sky island, several powerful forces had joined forces, and the leaders leading these forces were all extremely powerful. Apart from that, there were also the mysterious 8 Dao races. There were many of them, and they were all born with 8 Dao images. The race emperor of the 8 Dao races was definitely Shun Tianjun. Qin Yin couldn't be sure if the mysterious Empyrean supremacy had joined them. God King Jiangxian, Sky Fei God King, double demon race thearchs, and 8 Dao race thearchs were all God Heaven Lords. Behind them were many powerful Dao gods. There might even be other God Heaven Lords. Ignoring the fact that he had to face a few factions, even if he had to face a single faction, he would not be able to withstand it with his current strength. Qin Yin could only wait. Wait for the elf emperor of the purple sun elves to come. Wait for the star god to finish evolving the star dome divine mirror. Wait for Mei Daguang's soul to recover. The overall strength of the purple sun fairies was definitely not weak. Be it the dual fiends or divine monarch Jiangxian, they were all rather afraid of the elf emperor. Therefore, they wanted to frame Qin Yin. This way, they could wash away their suspicions and prevent themselves from being pursued by the elf emperor. Back when Qin Yin was with Mei Daguang and company, he did not ask who was the strongest in the purple sun fairy race. He only knew that the purple sun fairy race's growth speed was very fast. To be able to become the fairy emperor, they were definitely very strong. Apart from the elf emperor, there should be other heavenly lords, and there should be quite a number of them. The divine power they use is also purple sun divine power. Furthermore, there are a large number of divine universe purple crystals and divine universe purple sun core materials used to forge weapons. Ling Yin said, Xiao Yun, the dual devil race emperor brought the core power of their entire race to annihilate a few dozen purple sun elves. If the entire purple sun fairy race were to move out, their strength would definitely be extremely terrifying. Qin also thought of this. The dual devil race emperor personally led thousands of dual devil cultivators and only killed a few dozen purple sun elves. From this, it can be seen that the dual devil race is very clear about the strength of the purple sun elves. In the end, those purple sun elves are too naive. They should have annihilated those idiots from the dual devil race long ago, but they actually talked about some non-aggression agreement. Ling Yun lightly snorted and said, "If there's a chance in the future, I'll have to teach these purple sun elves a lesson." Ling Yun can also be considered a fairy. She has an indescribable feeling towards fairies. Outside, Divine Monarch Jiang Xian and the dual devil race emperor joined hands and continuously attacked the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. With their strength, they were unable to break through the sturdy pagoda. While Divine Monarch Jiang Xian is astonished, he also greedily looked at the pagoda. In his eyes, this is an incomparably sturdy divine tool. The nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda also continuously evolved along with Qin Yun. Especially now that Qin Yun has several divine suns, he often placed the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda inside different divine suns to refine. Inside the pagoda, Qin Yun can roughly sense how strong Divine Monarch Jiang Xian's divine power is. Shen Tianjun is indeed very strong. I shouldn't be completely Shen Tianjun's match right now. Qin Yun is also imagining the situation of him fighting Shen Tianjun. He doesn't know if he can't fight, but he believes that by relying on equipment, he can still hold on against Shen Tianjun for a period of time. Qin Yun went to the top floor to look at the star god. The star dome divine mirror has become a lot bigger. It looks like a very large disc. The star god is currently sitting cross-legged on the disc. Her eyes are closed, and she is in a deep sleep. Her body is releasing divine power for the star dome divine mirror to absorb. The star dome divine mirror's evolution is not over yet. Qin Yun only went over to touch the star god's charming face, and then returned to the first floor to continue paying attention to the movements outside. Many people have arrived outside and are cleaning up the scene. They want to remove all traces of the battle between the two devil race. Divine Monarch Jiang Xian is definitely a hypocrite. This kind of guy, when the time comes, he will definitely pretend to be a good person and then trick the Elf Emperor into a trap and let the Elf Emperor deal with you. Ling Yun cursed in a low voice. Fortunately, Xiao Yun, you saved a Wang soul. Otherwise, it would be very difficult to wash it off. Playing tricks with me? I never died. Qin Yun snorted. The Purple Sun Elf race definitely doesn't know much about these guys. They will definitely be deceived by them. Watch how I expose them. After Qin Yun patiently waited inside the pagoda for 3 days, Dongfeng Bingbing, who is inside the nine-sun divine spirit, suddenly shouted, "Master Qin, quickly let me out. I have something to say." Qin Yun released Dongfeng Bingbing. In these 2 to 3 days, he also told Dongfeng Bing about the situation outside. Dongfeng Bingbing is rather afraid, so she decided to temporarily hide inside Qin Yun's nine-sun divine spirit. "Bingbing, what's the matter?" Qin Yun asked. Dongfeng Bingbing took out a stone and said in a low voice, "Master Qin, look at this stone. A white stone, it's flashing. What kind of stone is this?" Qin Yun looked at it and asked, "This is a stone that can sense my father's nearby." Dongfeng Bingbing said somewhat happily, "My father might have already reached the island." "Is that so?" Qin Yun's eyes flickered. He pondered over something and asked again, "Then does your father know that you are also on this island?" Dongfeng Bingbing shook her head and said, "He doesn't know. I made this stone in secret. If your father comes, the other 2 bosses might also come." Qin Yun said with a smile. "They said they wouldn't come before, but now they are very honest." Dongfeng Bingbing said, "Master Qin, even if they come, they won't help you. You're their sworn enemy. My father might help you, but it's mainly because of me. I don't need their help." Qin Yun said, "My cultivation is inferior to theirs, but that doesn't mean my ability is inferior to theirs. Qin Yun has not been idle these past few days. He has been refining sacred Tao divine pills. This is used to help the Tao statue transform into the sacred heavenly Tao statue. He did not eat it. Even if he ate it, the Tao statue would not be able to evolve immediately unless there was a good opportunity. Just as Qin Yun was thinking about the three bosses, the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda suddenly shook violently. "Master Qin, what happened?" Dongfang Bing Bing shouted in alarm. The nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda has never shook so violently before. Is it going to be broken? Not only the shaking is very strong, there's also a huge tremor. Qin Yun did not even have time to speak before he suffered another fierce attack. The entire pagoda shook even more violently than before. "Don't worry." Qin Yun finished speaking and immediately went to the top floor. He set up a barrier to ensure that Star God can stay in an extremely quiet environment. "Xiao Yun, what's wrong?" Star God closed his eyes and said slowly, "It's nothing, continue." Qin Yun said, "Wait until the Star Heaven Divine Mirror finishes evolving. You and I will become stronger." Star God said, "Xiao Yun, wait patiently." "All right." Qin Yun quickly arrived at the first floor. The black mucus that wrapped around the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda has long been removed. Qin Yun and Dongfang Bing Bing can see the situation outside from inside. Purplish-red energy mist and flames are rushing outside. "Damn it, Purple Sun Elf race is here." Qin Yun cursed in low voice. They met Divine King Jiang Xian and those bastards in some other place and were tricked by them. At this time, Qin Yun and Dongfang Bing Bing heard Divine King Jiang Xian's aged voice. "Elf Emperor, this pagoda is very hard. We attacked it for a long time, but couldn't even move a bit. Otherwise, we would have already captured that demon and sent him to Divine Universe's Purple Sun Mountain." Divine King Jiang Xian sighed and said, "No matter how hard this pagoda is, as long as our Purple Sun Elf race is still here, we must break it open, capture the enemy, and put him on trial, then imprison and seal him." The person who spoke seems to be a young man. This Elf Emperor should also look very young. Qin Yun secretly feels that these Purple Sun Elves are too naive. Even if they captured their enemy, they would only seal and imprison him. Twin Devil Race Emperor's unpleasant voice came through. "Brother Elf Emperor, that bastard inside the pagoda is too powerful. Otherwise, we would have already killed him." Chapter 2399. There's a large area of purple flames outside. Qin Yun can only see the Elf Emperor's figure through the dense flames. He is a tall and slender man. He is standing beside Divine King Jiang Xian and dual Devil Race Emperors. Qin Yun could not help but shake his head. As the Elf Emperor, he had to bear the responsibility of the entire race's safety. But now, he was standing with two true enemies. "Master Qin, the Elf Emperor will definitely not let you off." Dongfang Bing Bing said, "Have you thought a way to deal with it?" "I've already thought about it. I just need time." On the other hand, Qin Yun was very calm. The main reason was that the Elf Emperor was unable to attack. As such, he could patiently wait here. Everything would be fine once Mei Dawang's soul recovered. At that time, the City Emperor would communicate with Mei Dawang's soul and the truth would be revealed. Qin Yun also recorded the conversation between Divine Monarch Jiang Xian and the two Devil Race Emperors. He didn't release it because he has two considerations. Firstly, if the Elf Emperor believed that the recording was real, then he would definitely fight with Divine Monarch Jiang Xian and the other factions. He might even be killed here. Secondly, even if the Elf Emperor didn't believe him, God King Jiang Xian and the others would be on guard. They might even make a move beforehand to kill a naive fellow like the Elf Emperor. Qin Yun was mainly thinking on behalf of the Purple Sun Fairies. After all, they were a race worth roping in. Furthermore, they were extremely powerful. It was just that they were naive. Dongfang Bing Bing looked at the stone in her hand and snorted. Father's really something. He was clearly scared to death and said that he wouldn't participate in the fight for the Third Universe Divine Sunday. Why is he here now? Are you afraid he will clash with me? Asked Qin Yun with a smile. Of course not. I'm afraid that he will die in the hands of others. Dongfang Bingbing rolled her eyes at Qin Yun and said, Don't think that after the 3 bosses died, the Heavenly Law pawn shop is yours. Qin Yun said with a chuckle. Could it be that your father left a trick up his sleeve? If he were to die, you would immediately inherit his Heavenly Dao blood token, become a female boss? No way. Dongfang Bingbing harumphed. Dongfang Bingbing's familiar voice suddenly came from outside. Isn't this the 9 Sun Sky Raising Pagoda? The voice belonged to Boss Gong's son. The owners of the Heavenly Law pawn shop could still recognize the 9 Suns Sky Raising Pagoda. 9 Suns Sky Raising Pagoda. Hearing these words, God King Jiang Xian's expression changed. The corners of his eyes trembled as he stared hatefully at the 9 Suns Sky Raising Pagoda within the purple flames. He was secretly delighted because he had always wanted to find Qin Yun, the Nine-Yang Palace King. However, he realized that the Nine-Yang Divine Palace was in the heavenly sword formation of the Sword Forest Mountain Desert. He did not have the confidence to attack it. But now, Qin Yun was right in front of him. The Godly King Heavenly Seal in Qin Yun's hands was something that Godly Monarch Jiang Xian coveted the most. He dreamed of it even in his dreams. Qin Yun had once destroyed too many of their plans. He had even grasped the heavenly sword formation in his hands and sealed off the passageway from the 9 heavens to the divine wilderness. This caused them to go through a lot of trouble and come through another passageway. 9 Sun Sky Raising Pagoda. Who owns this pagoda? The Elf Emperor hastily asked. This is the Nine-Yang Palace Kings. Boss Gong's son seemed to have just arrived and did not know what was happening. Hall King Nine-Yang? I've heard of this person. It was the divine judge who told me that he would be the future God King. The Elf Emperor is very angry. I never expected that this person would kill dozens of my race. Godly Monarch Jiang Xian said coldly. Elf Emperor, you might not know this, but this Nine-Yang Palace King is infamous in the divine wilderness. He is a homicidal maniac. The number of living beings that died in his hands is innumerable. Many experts of my 9 Heavens divine race and 9 Heavens demon race have died tragically in his hands. That's right, one of my 9 Heavens demon race's demon emperor died in Qin Yun's hands. This is the voice of the heavenly demon divine king. It is filled with hatred. Previously, one of his puppet avatars was killed by Qin Yun. Is that so? Our Purple Sun Fairy race will definitely capture this person. The Elf Emperor is even more furious. If it's just a seal, I'm afraid he will run out. Once we catch him, we must kill him, Godly Monarch Jiang Xian said. Elf Emperor, you are born with a kind heart. This is very rare. If you are not willing to kill, then hand Qin Yun over to us. No, this person killed dozens of my clansmen. I want to bring him back for trial and give the entire race an explanation. The Elf Emperor said resolutely. You don't have the ability to capture this person, so you don't have the qualifications to punish him. Let's seal him. Boss Gong's son did not say a word. Of course he knew what kind of trash Godly Monarch Jiang Xian and the Heavenly Demon Divine King were, but he did not defend Qin Yun. Elf Emperor, don't be fooled by these people. Qin Yun could not help but say, if you want to punish me and put me on trial, will you give me a chance to prove my innocence? Of course I will give it to you. If you don't have any evidence, then we will definitely deal with you. When the Elf Emperor heard Qin Yun's words, he immediately said, please come out immediately and follow us back to accept the trial. I guarantee that you will not be punished. When Godly Monarch Jiang Xian and the others heard this, they immediately became anxious. They also underestimated the Elf Emperor's one-track mind. If Qin Yun really fell into the Elf Emperor's hands and was sealed within the fairy race, the Divine King Heavenly Seal would also be sealed. I'm seriously injured, and this pagoda has also been severely damaged by your repeated attacks. I need to wait for my injuries to heal and repair this pagoda before I can leave. Qin Yun said very seriously. Elf Emperor, please rest assured. Once my injuries are healed, I will definitely go out and cooperate with your investigation. All right, I believe you, the elf emperor said. Godly monarch Jiang Xian and the heavenly demon divine king rolled their eyes. This elf emperor trusts others too easily. This Qin is very grateful for the elf emperor's trust. Please wait patiently for a few days. After I recover from my injuries and repair the structure of this pagoda, I will be able to leave immediately. Qin Yun continued. I believe that with the elf emperor's character, he will definitely not mistreat me. Qin Yun, if you truly repent and turn over a new leaf, we will consider reducing your sentence. The elf emperor said again, because he suddenly felt that Qin Yun is not bad. Qin Yun is also somewhat dumbfounded. This elf emperor truly does not have the slightest bit of cunning. He trusts people too easily. Elf emperor, don't attack this pagoda anymore. This will make you very, very tired. This Qin said that I will go out, so I will definitely go out. Qin Yun said again, don't tire yourselves, just wait patiently. Thank you very much for your cooperation, as well as your concern for us. The elf emperor said. Everyone is completely speechless hearing this. He is actually thanking Qin Yun. The purple sun elf race has several hundred purple sun elves. Among them, there are a few middle-aged men. They should be very strong, but they don't feel anything wrong. Only a petite woman beside the elf emperor gnashed her teeth and said, Father, that guy killed dozens of our clansmen. We still don't know why he did it. We must investigate this thoroughly. The elf emperor gently stroked the head of the woman and said in low voice. At this time, more and more people arrived. Boss Dongfang, Boss Linghu, and Boss Gongsun, these three big bosses have all arrived. After they arrived, they chatted and laughed with godly monarch Jiang Xian and heavenly demon divine king. It seems like they did not inform the two godly monarchs that Qin Yun is already the boss of the heavenly law pawn shop. Soon after, Jiang Jiuquan arrived. After Jiang Jiuquan arrived, he saw the nine-sun heaven raising pagoda and understood what happened. He felt that something big is about to happen. Of course, Jiang Jiuquan didn't say anything to his father, godly monarch Jiang Xian. They have always been on bad terms. They are only good on the surface. Finally, 8 Dao races emperors arrived with a few old men. A group of people surrounded the nine-sun heaven raising pagoda and pointed at it. Godly monarch Jiang Xian and the others took the lead to fabricate all kinds of stories to slander Qin Yun. They said that Qin Yun is a heinous and unforgivable devil. Only Jiang Jiuquan knows that Qin Yun is being attacked from all sides. He can't defend Qin Yun now, or he will only anger the people here. He knows that Qin Yun must have a way to escape. He will help Qin Yun when he needs help. Father, that guy is truly evil. He is a devil. A petite and cute woman beside the elf emperor gnashed her teeth and said very angrily after hearing godly monarch Jiang Xian and the others talk about Qin Yun's vile deeds. Princess Feng Feng, that guy's a great sex fiend. You better wear a veil and not let him see your face. Otherwise, he will have very dirty thoughts towards you. The two devil races emperors laughed loudly and said. The elf princess promptly took out a mask and put it on, covering her very cute face. She furiously said, Father, I must ruthlessly beat up that scoundrel. Feng Feng, father promised him that I wouldn't abuse him. The elf emperor said, Moreover, we don't have enough evidence to prove that he killed our people, so we have to bring him back for interrogation. Qin Yun suddenly feels that the elf emperor is not that stupid. At least he has principles when doing things. He didn't follow the crowd. But, look, everyone says that he is a scoundrel. Then he is definitely a scoundrel. Princess Feng Feng is still very angry. Feng Feng, if 100 people say that you're a bad girl, then would you also be a bad girl? The elf emperor is very calm and collected. Hearing the elf emperor's words, godly monarch Jiang Xian and the others immediately shut up. They suddenly feel that the elf emperor is not that stupid. Previously, godly monarch Jiang Xian and the others thought that the elf emperor was very stupid, so they crazily slandered Qin Yun. This might have caused the elf emperor to be suspicious. Princess Feng Feng did not continue speaking. She felt that what her father said is very reasonable. There are some things that need to be seen to be true. Qin Yun secretly nodded his head and praised the Elf Emperor. At the same time, he also felt guilty. He actually thought that the Elf Emperor was very naive. All of a sudden, he felt that the Elf Emperor was pretending to be stupid, or his great wisdom masquerading as stupidity. Elf Emperor, my injuries are quite heavy. Can you come in and help me heal? My pagoda can only be entered and not exited, Qin Yun suddenly said. He felt that it was necessary to talk to the Elf Emperor alone. Elf Emperor, you must not go in. That guy is very sinister. His cultivation is not high, but he has killed many experts. Godly Monarch Jiang Xian immediately pressed down on the Elf Emperor's shoulder. Godly Monarch Jiang Xian is truly worried that the Elf Emperor would be killed by Qin Yun. At this moment, there is also a group of people who are trying to persuade the Elf Emperor not to go in. The Elf Emperor's body shook off Godly Monarch Jiang Xian's hand. This also caused Godly Monarch Jiang Xian's expression to change slightly. Everyone can see that the Elf Emperor is stronger than Godly Monarch Jiang Xian. Chapter 2400. The Elf Emperor did not bring Princess Feng with him. Instead, he entered the Nine Suns sky-raising pagoda by himself. Qin Yun, who is inside the pagoda, looked at the righteous Elf Emperor in front of him. Although he is not very handsome, his face is very righteous. His eyebrows are benevolent, filled with righteousness and a bit simple and honest. How serious are your injuries? After the Elf Emperor came in, he sized up Qin Yun and said, You look very spirited. You don't look injured at all. Could it be an internal injury or a hidden injury to the soul? Qin Yun said, I am not injured. I let you in because I wanted to talk to you in private. I didn't kill dozens of your clansmen. It was the dual demon race who killed them. Divine King Jiang Xian and his group also helped from behind. The Elf Emperor frowned and said, Do you have any evidence? Qin Yun took out a round shell. It is a recording device. He played the conversation between the two devil emperors and Divine King Jiang Xian. The guy in the tower is a human, not a purple sun elf. That would be for the best. With so many purple sun elves dead, their elf sovereign might bring people over. We could just frame that guy. When the Elf Emperor heard these two sentences, his expression changed. He was filled with anger, and an extremely strong purple sun divine power surged out from his body. The Fairy Emperor with the cultivation of Shun Tian Lord is now enraged. The divine power on his body accompanied his anger, causing Qin Yun to feel apprehensive. This was the power of Shun Tianjun. This is the first time Qin Yun felt the strength of a powerful divine heaven lord at such a close distance. This kind of dialogue can be forged. I can also forge it. After the Elf Emperor's anger subsided, he quickly calmed down and said, he still couldn't believe that God King Jiang Xian and the others had joined forces to do such a thing. Qin Yun said, Before I came to this island, I met Mei Dagwang and his brothers. Back then, Dagwang and company were besieged by the two devil men. He told the Elf Emperor everything about himself, Mei Dagwang and Mei Jia. Moreover, he even took out the divine universe amethyst that Major had given him. Fairy Emperor looked at the box in Qin Yun's hand and can't help but reveal a sorrowful expression. He sighed and said, I gave this to a Jia, but the father and son. It could be seen that the relationship between the Elf Emperor and Major was quite good. The situation back then was too urgent. I only managed to save Dawang's soul. He is still undergoing treatment. Qin Yun took out the soul creation heavenly cauldron again. After opening it, a faint light appeared. With a glance, the Elf Emperor knew that this was Mei Dawang's soul. This was because the souls of the Purple Sun elves were also very special. As the Elf Emperor, he could immediately recognize it. Elf Emperor, the reason why I didn't say earlier was because I was worried that you would fight with the two Devil Race Emperors in a fit of anger. With the current situation, once you make a move, there will definitely be heavy casualties. Qin Yun said. At this moment, The elf emperor released a kind of purplish-red spiritual power and injected it into the soul creation heavenly cauldron to help Maid Dogwong's soul recover. As he healed Maid Dogwong's soul, he asked, "Then what should we do next? You guys stay put for the time being and pretend to capture me, and I will continue to stay in this pagoda." Qin Yun said, "Also, you need to think of a way to make contact with the divine sun heavenly beasts. I heard from Brother Magia that there is a beast king among the divine sun heavenly beasts here. You are the elf emperor. You should be able to talk to the beast king. Listen to me." Qin Yun wants the elf emperor to secretly send a message to the divine sun heavenly beasts that some people are joining hands to attack their spawning grounds. What caused Qin Yun to be amazed is that the elf emperor very quickly helped Maid Dogwong's soul recover. Moreover, he can communicate with Maid Dogwong and confirm that Qin Yun is telling the truth. "Qin Yun, Dogwong asked me to thank you. I will definitely let Dogwong cultivate a new body as soon as possible. At that time, he will personally thank you." The elf emperor is now looking at Qin Yun with a bit more respect and gratitude. A3, help me apologize to Dogwong because I only saved him. Qin Yun lightly sighed. "It's mainly because I am not strong enough. Otherwise, I would have been able to save them." Speaking of this matter, Qin Yun also feels very sad and very guilty. In the past, he never allowed his friends to be killed by his side. "Brother Qin, don't be sad. If Ajia and the others knew that Dogwong is still alive, they would definitely be very happy and very grateful to you." The elf emperor patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said, "You are also my purple sun elf race's benefactor. You saved Dogwong. I owe you a favor." Qin Yun waved his hand and said, "Let's not talk about this anymore. I only hope that you won't show mercy to your enemies. The divine desolate is a place where the weak are prey to the strong. It is because you are naive and pure in the eyes of the dual devil race that they dare to attack your people. We can't kill people." The elf emperor shook his head and said, "We can't deprive other living beings of their lives. Otherwise our souls will be corroded by evil, and we will become dark elves. There's such a thing?" Qin Yun frowned and said, "Then capture them and hand them over to me." "All right." The elf emperor nodded in agreement. He understood Qin Yun from the divine judge. Now that he has truly come into contact with Qin Yun, it is just as the divine judge said, Qin Yun is a trustworthy person. "Then do as I said before. First inform the divine sun heavenly beast king, and let them prepare their defenses." Qin Yun said, "All right, I will go out and do it now." The elf emperor thought for a moment and asked, "Then after I go out, how will I explain it to the people outside? Just say that you have already sealed me inside the pagoda." Qin Yun said with a smile, "Don't worry. Those people outside will definitely believe you." The reason for that was because everyone could tell that the elf emperor was an extremely honest person. Furthermore, he had a righteous expression on his face. He simply did not seem like someone who would lie. The elf emperor walked out of the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. After he left, divine King Jiangxian and the others immediately surrounded him. "Elf emperor, why did you come out by yourself? Where's that bastard?" Divine King Jiangxian hastily asked. He is also worried that their matter would be exposed. "He's been sealed by me," the elf emperor said coldly. "This kind of homicidal maniac will be sealed here forever until his soul scatters and scatters." This, divine King Jiangxian is startled. He wished that he could immediately rush in and capture Qin Yun, torture him, and force out the divine King Heavenly Seal. However, that pagoda is very difficult to break through. Currently, divine King Jiangxian and the others are unable to do it even if they join hands. "Father, is that guy really an evil person?" Princess Feng Feng asked in a low voice. "Heinous beyond redemption." The elf emperor clenched his fists and said angrily, "If it wasn't for the fact that my race can't kill people, I would definitely let him die a horrible death." At this moment, the surrounding people can all feel the monstrous anger of the elf emperor. The elf emperor is truly angry because the evil person who killed his clansmen is right beside him, and he even pretends to treat them well. The Elf Emperor is also considering the overall situation. Otherwise, hundreds of his clansmen would have died here. Then, Big Brother Dogwong and the others. Aren't they all dead? And Uncle Magia. Princess Fong Fong is already sobbing uncontrollably as she leaned into the Elf Emperor's embrace. I have already punished the culprit. They can rest in peace. Tears also appeared in the Elf Emperor's eyes. The hundreds of purple sun elves present all lowered their heads. Their expressions were heavy as they sank into incomparable grief. The Elf Emperor is truly sad. He is unable to tell the truth to his daughter or his other clansmen. He can only let Qin Yun suffer for the time being. Qin Yun, I hate you. I must work hard to become stronger, then break through this pagoda and kill you. Princess Fong Fong suddenly rushed towards the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. As she cried, she punched and kicked the door. The nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda was shaken by a petite girl like Princess Fong Fong. It can be seen how terrifying her strength is. Fong Fong, we purple sun elves can't kill people. Otherwise, we will become evil spirits, and then we will go around killing innocent people. The Elf Emperor went over and pulled Princess Fong Fong back. He said, "Let's go." Princess Fong Fong cried bitterly as she randomly hit the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. Inside the pagoda, Qin Yun shook his head and said with a sigh, "Truly an affectionate and loyal little girl. I will definitely avenge Brother Mei and Dagwang." Dongfang Bing Bing said in a low voice, "That little girl is really strong. I might not be her match. If you meet her in the future and the misunderstanding hasn't been resolved, then you have to be careful." "It's fine." Qin Yun did not blame Fong Fong. It's good that Fong Fong scolded him like this. At least it would let the people outside believe that he was sealed by the Elf Emperor. Very soon, the Elf Emperor left with his people. He will definitely let a portion of them leave the Purple Sun Heavenly Island first, and then he will stay behind. The Elf Emperor already knows that something big is going to happen in the Purple Sun Heavenly Island. He has a very important matter to attend to. That is to inform the divine Sun Heavenly Beast. The Purple Sun Heavenly Island is constantly illuminated, because outside the huge bubble, there is a very scorching light fog. It is also impossible to see the heaven's divine moon and starry sky inside. The people outside have all left. Although divine King Jiang Xian and the others have temporarily left, they will not give up on attacking the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. In their eyes, the divine King Heavenly Seal is incomparably important. They must obtain it. After the people outside have all left, an hour later, a masked and black armored man suddenly appeared outside the pagoda. "Palace King, it's me, Jiang Jiuchuan." Jiang Jiuchuan directly used his mental power to enter the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. "Jiang Clan King, what's the situation on this island now? Why did you appear in the Purple Sun Heavenly Island? You said that you wouldn't come. There is an important information regarding the third myriad realm's Divine Sunday. I told the nameless old man to contact you before, but he couldn't. Then I guessed that you were on this island, so I immediately rushed over." Jiang Jiuchuan said. After Qin Yun entered the Purple Sun Heavenly Island's bubble, he can no longer communicate with the nameless old man. "What's wrong with the third myriad realm's divine sun?" Qin Yun immediately asked. He is using his mental power to communicate with Jiang Jiuchuan. Dongfang Bing Bing can't hear him. She can only see that there's a large man outside. Myriad Realm's divine sun will become completely independent. No one will be able to enter it anymore. Moreover, powerful creatures will be born inside the divine sun, humans, beasts, fairies, and so on. Divine Sun Heavenly Beast is one of them. Its main purpose is to protect the myriad realm's divine Sunday. Chapter 24:01. Qin Yun is not surprised because he sensed on the way here. Third myriad realm's divine sun, heavenly beast appeared. This is a kind of abnormality. Nobody knows what kind of change will happen to myriad realm's divine sun. Maybe even the spirit inside myriad realm's divine sun doesn't know. Then do you know what kind of big change will happen to Myriad Realm's divine sun? Qin Yun asked. I also don't know. I only receive a message from Myriad Realm's divine sun telling me to leave ancestral divine sun as soon as possible. It said that divine sun is going to reform inside. Jiang Jiuchuan replied, Hall King, my father, divine King Jiang Xian, has arrived at Violet Sun Sky Island. I'll try my best to learn more from him. I will try my best to find out more information from him. All right. Qin Yun has already arranged for Jiang Daliang to set up a trap. Let's see if divine King Jiang Xian will take the bait or not. Jiang Jiuchuan said again, Palace King, that Myriad Heaven's venerable emperor is also on the island. He didn't appear earlier, but he is indeed very strong. Even my father doesn't dare to provoke him. Have you seen Myriad Heaven's venerable emperor? Qin Yun is puzzled as to why Myriad Heaven's venerable emperor didn't appear. I saw him once, but I couldn't tell how strong he is. Jiang Jiuchuan said, Palace King, Myriad Heaven's venerable emperor's final goal is Myriad Heaven's divine moon. Myriad Heaven's divine moon is about to evolve, and during this stage, there will be a big change that will cause Myriad Heaven's divine moon to lose its defense. If the Moon Palace and the Moon God clan couldn't defend themselves, they would retreat to the Sword Forest Desert to hide. This is what Yushang Yun said before. Of course, if they retreat from Myriad Heaven's divine moon, then after Myriad Heaven's divine moon evolves, other powers might attack it. What will happen to Myriad Heaven's divine moon at that time? It is impossible to predict. Did Myriad Heaven's divine moon change before you came here? Qin Yun asked. No change at the moment. Jiang Jiuchuan shook his head. All right, return to your father's side as soon as possible and help me investigate his situation. Qin Yun said, I will be fine here. I will be able to leave very soon. Jiang Jiuchuan immediately left. He is not worried about the matter between Qin Yun and Purple Sun Fairy race. He knows that Qin Yun can handle it well. After Jiang Jiuchuan left, Dongfang Bingbing asked, Master Qin, what did you discuss with him? Nothing. I just told him to do something. Qin Yun said. Then can we go out now? Dongfang Bingbing looked around and said, Those people have left. We can't see anything from here, so we naturally thought that they had left. I'm sure that Divine King Jiang Xian and the others left behind many spies to keep an eye on my pagoda, Qin Yun said confidently. Those God Kings are not fools. Even if they believe in the Elf Emperor's seal, they also believe that Qin Yun can break the seal. Dongfang Bingbing helplessly sat down and said in a low voice, Why did my father come to this island? I don't know yet. They must have received some news and rushed over. Qin Yun looked at Dongfang Bing and said with a smile, Boss Dongfang knows that you are following me, but he doesn't seem to be worried about you at all. Even if he's worried, what's the point? Dongfang Bingbing had completely lost her freedom after becoming Qin Yun's maid. Qin Yun brought Dongfang Bingbing along not because he lacked a maid, but because Dongfang Bingbing was a bargaining chip. When needed, he could use Dongfang Bingbing to threaten Boss Dongfang to support him. The Heavenly Law Pawnshop's matter is still very complicated. Qin Yun's current cultivation is limited, so he can't go in and fight head-on for now. Therefore, he needs Boss Dongfang to stand on his side, so that he can keep the other two bosses in check. Qin Yun is waiting for the Star Heaven Divine Mirror to finish evolving inside the Nine-Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda. He originally thought that it would succeed very quickly, but now he realized that he doesn't know when it will succeed. Star God also said that the several changes that happened to the Star Heaven Divine Mirror might be related to the environment. Qin Yun is now very close to the Myriad Realm's Divine Sunday. The several changes that happened to the Star Heaven Divine Mirror is very likely related to the Myriad Realm's Divine Sun. What kind of big change will happen to the Myriad Realm's Divine Sun? Qin Yun is inside the pagoda, looking at the direction that is releasing intense light. That is where the Myriad Realm's Divine Sun is located. Although it was just born not long ago, after approaching it, one can see how terrifying it is. Jiang Jiuchuan left for a few hours and suddenly returned. Palace King, not good. Jiang Jiuchuan is wearing armor and mask. After arriving, he hastily released his mental power and sent a message to Qin Yun. What happened? Qin Yun hastily asked. They're attacking the central area. Jiang Jiuquan hurriedly replied. I heard that the central region is where the divine young heavenly beasts lay their eggs. They want to invade the central region and take control of the Violet Sun Heavenly Island. Qin Yun is also quite surprised. He already knew that those factions were plotting this matter. However, he never expected them to attack so quickly. Can they attack in? Asked Qin Yun. We can't break in for now. However, the poisonous arrows and light shot out by the dual devil cultivators can penetrate the barrier in the central region. Jiang Jiuquan was very nervous and said, Palace King, those divine sun heavenly beasts outside will definitely go crazy. If they go crazy and attack the Violet Sun Heavenly Island, even if we don't die, we will still die. He'll be seriously injured. Qin Yun paced back and forth a few steps and asked anxiously, They're attacking the central region. What about the divine sun heavenly beast? They didn't retaliate immediately. The divine sun heavenly beasts are all flying around the Violet Sun Sky Island. This group of huge beasts suddenly went to a place just now. It was also around this time that the nest in the central area was attacked. Jiang Jiuquan said. Qin Yun understood. Someone knew that the divine sun heavenly beast would suddenly leave. That's why they attacked. These bastards, they're really bold. Qin Yun cursed in low voice. Aren't they courting death? If the divine sun heavenly beast gets angry, it will be terrible. When the time comes, they will just pat their butts and leave. Even if this island is destroyed, they won't suffer any losses. They just want to destroy this Violet Sun Heavenly Island and see what's in the center. Jiang Jiuquan said, Palace King, you should leave quickly. You leave first. I still have something to do. Qin Yun said, All right. Jiang Jiuquan immediately left. He is also very afraid of death. After Jiang Jiuquan left, Qin Yun released the Heavenly Lion Dao image. Soon after, Qin Yun took out a tool specially used to detect souls. Very quickly, he detected the fluctuation of dozens of souls and controlled the Heavenly Lion to rush over. The snow-white Heavenly Lion's entire body released white flames. It charged toward the boulder and slapped down with its claw, unleashing Heavenly Lion fighting Dragon Claw. After the boulder was torn apart, a very large dual devil cultivator appeared. The head on the abdomen of the dual devil cultivator is also extremely frightened. It promptly shot out devil arrow insect from its mouth. Qin Yun is very experienced in dealing with dual devil cultivators. The divine power on the Heavenly Lion's body is specially created to restrain evil devils. The dual devil cultivator suffered a claw attack, and his body was directly torn to shreds. Moreover, his body is still burning with white flame. The evil devil power and his body were immediately purified. Qin Yun stored Dongfang Bingbing inside the Nine Sun Divine Soul and locked her inside a small room. The outside is already in chaos. The sudden appearance of the white Heavenly Lion alarmed the dual devil cultivators hiding in the surroundings. A large group of dual devil cultivators suddenly jumped out and attacked the white Heavenly Lion. Qin Yun's Heavenly Lion is not afraid of those dual devil cultivators at all. As long as it is not facing divine Heavenly Monarch level dual devil emperor, it can hang up and beat up most of them. What caused Qin Yun to pay attention is that there are still 3 souls that have not moved. They are still hiding behind the boulder and have not rushed out to participate in the battle. Qin Yun suspects that these 3 are the people left behind by Divine King Jiang Xian, Heavenly Demon Divine King, and 8 Dao Race Emperors. There are not many of them left behind. Each of them left behind one person to watch the 9 Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda. Although there are not many of them, they're definitely very strong. Of course, no matter how strong they can't be divine Heavenly Monarch. It is truly a waste to use people with divine Heavenly Monarch cultivation to stay here and watch. After Qin Yun concealed himself, he quietly slipped out of the 9 Sun Heaven Raising Pagoda. Once he left, he carefully approached a boulder. After he came out, he used his Heavenly I had to scan the area. He released his mental power and sensed that there's a 9 heavens divine demon hiding behind the boulder. Qin Yun has a method to restrain 9 heavens divine demons, especially that little black saber. It is specially made to kill 9 heavens divine demons. That 9 heavens divine demon is at the Tao God realm. He is wearing blue crystal armor, and his silver hair is fluttering in the wind. He knows that a large number of dual devil cultivators are fighting with a white heavenly lion, but he has no intention of taking action. He doesn't even look at them. This 9 heavens divine demon is lying behind the boulder. He seems to be cultivating and crazily absorbing the divine power here. On the purple sun heavenly island, not only can one absorb high-quality myriad world divine sun power, one can also absorb divine universe purple energy. To a 9 heavens divine demon, this is a rare opportunity to cultivate. After Qin Yun approached, he floated in the air and arrived above the 9 heavens divine demon. That 9 heavens divine demon did not discover Qin Yun's whereabouts, but he is somewhat vigilant. After being vigilant, the 9 heavens divine demon opened his eyes and saw 10 black lights shooting down from the sky. Qin Yun controlled 10 small black flying daggers and quickly shot them into the ground. The small flying daggers are like nails. They shot towards the 9 heavens divine demon lying on the ground and nailed him to the ground. The 9 heavens divine demon wanted to shout, but his mouth, throat, and head were all pierced by the small flying daggers. His body is also pressed down by a formless supergravity, making it hard for him to move. Qin Yun hastily swooped down and very quickly threw the 9 heavens divine demon into the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron. He used the power of the nether sun totem to kill him. He killed a Tao God realm 9 heavens divine demon without anyone noticing, and then quickly rushed towards divine King Jiangshin subordinates. This is a person from the 9 heavens divine race. The aura of the 9 heavens divine race is very easy to distinguish. There is a distance between the 9 heavens divine race and the 9 heavens divine demon. Furthermore, the two of them do not know each other. They each have their own things to do and did not talk. The 9 heavens divine race person is more dedicated. He did not slack off to cultivate. Instead, he wore the invisibility cloak and sat on a rock, staring at the 9 sun heaven raising pagoda. Even though the twin devils and heavenly lions near the 9 sun heaven raising pagoda are fighting intensely, the 9 heavens divine race person did not even look over there. It is because this person is too serious. He did not expect that Qin Yun is already behind him. When he discovered that there is someone behind him, his neck was strangled by Qin Yun using the heaven locking chain. Before he could even scream, his head was cut off by the heaven locking chain and his head separated from his body. Just like the 9 heavens divine demon, he was thrown into the heavenly lion dragon suppressing cauldron and burned. Chapter 2402. After Qin Yun turned around, he saw a tall and sturdy middle-aged man. This middle-aged man has a pitch-black 8-footed small cauldron in his hand. With one look, he realized that this small cauldron is formed from the sacred heavenly Tao image. Moreover, it is formed from a fusion of 8 sacred heavenly Tao images. I have indeed been sealed, but the Elf Emperor's seal cannot suppress me. Qin Yun knows that this middle-aged man is a formidable Tao god. As long as it is not Shun Tianjun, Qin Yun will dare to fight. The middle-aged man said with sneer, "No matter what, you ran out. You bastard, you really have guts. You dare to come here with this kind of cultivation. This is also good. Your God King Heavenly Seal is mine." "You want my God King Heavenly Seal? Then what about the 8 Tao Emperor? You should hand it over to the Clan Emperor." Qin Yun said with indifferent smile. "I, Zhuiao Fan, have the God King Heavenly Seal and will become one of the future God Kings of Divine Desolate." "What bullshit Clan Emperor? He will be nothing but a fart at that time," Zhuiao Fan said with sneer. His eyes are filled with fanaticism and excitement, as if he will become a God King very soon. No one can confirm whether or not the God King Heavenly Seal in Qin Yun's hand is complete. Most people speculate that it is missing a seal spirit. Some people also believe that Divine Desolate's God King Heavenly Seal is different from other God World's heavenly seals and should have several parts. Only Qin Yun knows the specifics. Not far away, Qin Yun's Heavenly Lion is still fighting against the two devils. Most of them have already been killed. The remaining few are struggling at death's door. Zhui Yaofan glanced at Qin Yun's Heavenly Lion and said again, "You really have some ability. Your Heavenly Lion Dao image is filled with divine power. It is very effective against these two devils. But it has no effect on me." While Zhui Yaofan was speaking, the Heavenly Lion killed the remaining two devils and returned to Qin Yun. After Qin Yun withdrew the Heavenly Lion, he took out the Nine-Sun Divine Hammer. He is about to face an extremely powerful Dao God. Moreover, he doesn't know much about this kind of Dao God. After all, this is the first time he is facing 8 Dao Emperor clan members. The most powerful aspect of 8 Dao Emperor clan members is their innate 8 Dao images. These 8 images were very special and did not have any restrictions. Otherwise, ordinary people with 8 images would not be able to break through. However, the 8 paths races people could break through. This meant that when they cultivated the 8 paths images, they didn't have high requirements for their corporeal bodies. He was unlike Qin Yun, who had forcefully cultivated an extremely powerful heavenly body in order to withstand the 10 images. Also, the 8 Dao images of the 8 Dao clans were all exactly the same. If they fused the 8 Dao images into one, their power would be even greater. When did your 8 Dao clans come to this island? Qin Yun saw that Zhui Yaofan still hasn't attacked, so he knows that Zhui Yaofan is nervous. Zhui Yaofan appeared very arrogant on the surface, but he was not a person who underestimated his enemy. He was secretly on guard against Qin Yun. His entire body was in defense. He was waiting for Qin Yun's attack to arrive so that he could counter it. In the face of a powerful enemy that he did not understand, it was a good strategy to turn defense into offense. We came a long time ago. This island belongs to our 8 Paths race. Zhui Yaofan said, "Qin Yun, I know you are very strong, but you are definitely not my match. You better obediently hand over the divine King Heavenly Seal to me." Qin Yun finds it very ridiculous. He shook his head and said with a smile, "You are truly naive, even more naive than the Purple Sun Elves. The naive one is you." Zhui Yaofan shouted loudly. The small black cauldron in his hand suddenly flew out, and like a stone, it ruthlessly charged towards Qin Yun. When the small cauldron charged over, it brought along a burst of black energy wave. It tore apart the earth and shook it. Although its speed is not very fast, its might is extremely dreadful. Qin Yun was originally on a boulder, but when the small cauldron charged over, the boulder was directly shattered. The ground he was standing on also looked like it was suddenly torn apart by someone. A very large crack appeared on it. The most dreadful thing is that the small cauldron's formidable pressure. It is unknown how it did it, but when it flew over, it produced a powerful energy wave that enveloped Qin Yun, causing him to sink into the ground. Boom! The cauldron suddenly became big and covered Qin Yun. "Ha! I told you that you're not my match." Zhui Yaofan laughed loudly, and then charged over with heavy and powerful steps. Boom! The large cauldron covering Qin Yun was blasted away by Qin Yun's punch and flew into the sky. The smile on Zhui Yaofan's face froze. He furiously roared and controlled the large cauldron to fall down like a meteor, smashing towards Qin Yun. Qin Yun sneered in a deep voice. He released a super gravity and brushed the air above him. When the large cauldron smashed down, it is as if it hit a soft bubble. It was immediately wrapped up by the super gravity and was unable to hit Qin Yun. "Damn it!" Zhui Yaofan cursed in anger. Seeing his cauldron being wrapped up by Qin Yun's gravity, he promptly controlled the large cauldron to shake. The large cauldron shook crazily and suddenly exploded, turning into 8. The instant it exploded, it also tore apart the super gravity ball released by Qin Yun. It must be said that Zhui Yaofan's 8 divine cauldron Dao images are indeed very strong. They can fuse and also separate. Now the 8 cauldrons are rushing towards Qin Yun from 8 directions. Qin Yun used light transformation sacred pupil to dodge in an instant and rushed towards Zhui Yaofan at the same time. When he dodged, the 8 cauldrons collided together and once again fused into one large cauldron. At the same time, Qin Yun arrived in front of Zhui Yaofan. He first released super gravity to suppress him. Then the 9-sun divine hammer in his hand fiercely smashed down, unleashing heaven extermination 9 style. In an instant, 2 hammers smashed down towards Zhui Yaofan's head. These 2 ferocious and ruthless hammers released berserk energy waves that reverberated throughout the heaven and earth. If it was any other time, it would be enough to crush a Tao god's head. But Zhui Yaofan actually blocked these 2 hammers. What Qin Yun did not expect is that Zhui Yaofan's 8 cauldrons returned very quickly, or it could be said that they passed through space and returned to Zhui Yaofan's body. Furthermore, they directly appeared on his head and transformed into a helmet. Qin Yun's 2 ferocious hammers landed on Zhui Yaofan's small cauldron helmet. Although Zhui Yaofan's head did not explode, the impact made him dizzy. He unceasingly cursed. This guy. Qin Yun saw Zhui Yaofan jump far away and did not continue chasing. Because the small cauldron has fused with Zhui Yaofan's body and appeared on Zhui Yaofan's skin and flesh, this can increase the strength of Zhui Yaofan's body. Zhui Yaofan did not dare to let his cauldron run out. Instead, he let the cauldron fuse with his body and form a defensive armor. He took out a sharp saber and charged at Qin Yun again. Qin Yun is not as easy to deal with as he imagined. Moreover, it is very dangerous. Therefore, Zhui Yaofan no longer used the 8 cauldrons to attack, but used them for defense. Xiao Yun, this person's cultivation is much higher than yours, and he also has 8 images. You won't be able to gain any advantage if you fight him head-on, Ling Yuner said. Qin Yun waved his hand and released 9 altars, forming a 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. At this time, Zhui Yaofan arrived in front of Qin Yun and instantly slashed down with thousands of saber lights. The saber lights and saber shadows are like a violent wave that engulfed Qin Yun. Qin Yun raised his hand and released the Sun Heavenly Shield to block Zhui Yaofan's monstrous saber slash. Zhui Yaofan was sent flying by the Sun Heavenly Shield. He is secretly astonished. Qin Yun is much more difficult to kill than he imagined. He finally understood why even the heavenly demon Divine King and Divine King Jiang Xin hate Qin Yun to the bone. It is mainly because they, the Divine Kings, can't do anything to this person with an extremely low cultivation. Zhui Yaofan realized that Qin Yun is not easy to deal with. He wanted to leave immediately and ask for reinforcements. However, at this moment, he discovered that 9 mountain-like altars have appeared around him. Qin Yun rushed towards one of the altars and entered it. At this time, the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation opened. The altar shook and the 9 dragons roared. Dragon roars, lightning flashes, and thunder rumbles accompanied them as they charged at Zhui Yaofan from all directions. In just an instant, Zhui Yaofan was bombarded until he screamed miserably. Qin Yun is inside an altar. Looking at Zhui Yaofan, who is being attacked by the array, he suddenly recalled that he released the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, but it was unable to block the 2 devils. The attacks of the 2 devils seemed to be able to penetrate any barrier. Jiang Zhichuan previously said that when besieging the central lair, the devil arrow insects shot out from the head on the abdomen of the 2 devils can penetrate the central lair's barrier. Qin Yun, you despicable and shameless bastard. If you have the guts, come out and fight me fair and square. Zhui Yaofan roared in pain. Your cultivation is so much higher than mine. What are you talking about? Qin Yun laughed loudly and said, if you were not greedy and wanted to hog my Divine King heavenly seal for yourself, you would not have ended up like this. Zhui Yaofan had long discovered Qin Yun. If he had fled early, Qin Yun would not have been able to catch up. After being modified by the 9 divine universe dragon pearls, the Nine Dragons' heavenly origin formation had become even stronger, but it was still unable to kill a Tao God realm expert in a short period of time. People from the Tao God realm were very strong, so it was normal for the formation to not be able to kill them instantly. Furthermore, Zhui Yaofan was not an ordinary Tao God realm. At this moment, being able to seal Zhui Yaofan and activate the killing formation to attack was already very impressive. The killing array that Qin Yun had activated mainly attacked the soul. Its attacks on the body were not too strong. This was because Zhui Yaofan's physical defense was very strong. Directly attacking his physical body would be very ineffective. Furthermore, Qin Yun wants to devour Zhui Yaofan's 8 Cauldron Tao idol. He had already cultivated 3 Sacred Heavens Tao images and planned to cultivate the Nether Sun Tao image next. But if he devoured Zhui Yaofan's 8 Cauldron Tao image, he would be able to directly cultivate his own Divine Cauldron Tao image. His Divine Cauldron Tao image looks like the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron. Zhui Yaofan's 8 Cauldron Tao images are all Sacred Heavens Tao images. If he could devour them all, it would be enough for Qin Yun to evolve his own Divine Cauldron Tao image into a Sacred Heavens Tao image. You want to snatch my Divine King Heavenly Seal, and I also want to devour your 8 Cauldron Tao image. Qin Yun laughed mischievously in his heart. After Zhui Yaofan's soul was tortured for a while, his entire being became dispirited. Qin Yun closed the formation, released the heaven-locking chain to bind Zhui Yaofan, then rushed out and used the Nether Sun to devour Zhui Yaofan's Cauldron Tao image. You want to devour my Tao image? Zhui Yaofan screamed in horror. Quickly stop. Chapter 24:03. Zhui Yaofan is in incomparable despair. He let out miserable screams and howls. He was arranged to stay here to keep an eye on the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda. If Qin Yun comes out, he must return and report. But he thinks he is infallible. He thinks he can capture Qin Yun and obtain the Divine King Heavenly Seal. Then he can look down on Divine Desolate and become a domineering Divine King. Imagination is very rich, but reality is very cruel. Not only Zhui Yaofan did not obtain the Divine King Heavenly Seal, he even lost his life. Zhui Yaofan experienced incomparable pain after his Tao image was taken away. He did not faint. But thinking that he is done for, he fainted. This guy clearly discovered me early on. He did not run to report and instead attacked me. Isn't he just courting death? Qin Yun is like a rabbit. He threw Zhui Yaofan into the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron and burned him to ashes. You are a cauldron cultivator. Dying inside the Heavenly Lion Dragon Suppressing Cauldron is already a great show of respect. Qin Yun looked inside the Nether Sun's 8 Cauldron Tao images. They are all Sacred Heavenly Tao images. After refining them, only a portion of them can be converted into usable energy. But Qin Yun believes that it is enough to evolve his Divine Cauldron Tao image. Even if I cultivate Divine Cauldron Tao image, I can only cultivate 4. Qin Yun thought about how many Tao images he will have to cultivate in the future and feels that the road ahead is still very long. Originally, he wanted to go to the central region to take a look, but now that he has the possibility of breaking through, he can only wait and cultivate first. He entered the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda again and seriously cultivated inside. He controlled the Nether Sun to quickly refine the 8 sacred heavenly Tao images. These 8 Tao clans' sacred heavenly Tao images are truly extraordinary. Qin Yun is pleasantly surprised and said, Yuner, release your little Nether Sun and help me refine them. All right. Ling Yuner came out and said with smile, Xiao Yun, how about I cultivate Sun and Moonheart Sutra together with you? I haven't cultivated with you for a long time. All right. Qin Yun thought about it. He feels that cultivating Sun and Moonheart Sutra with Ling Yuner will allow him to refine even faster. Ling Yuner also has a Nether Sun. She can cultivate with Qin Yun through Sun and Moonheart Sutra and help Qin Yun refine even more energy. And Ling Yuner herself can also become stronger. She is a special Tao image of Qin Yun. If she becomes stronger, it also means that Qin Yun can become stronger. Ling Yun, Er's charming and lovely fairy, is very happy at this moment. She excitedly cultivated with Qin Yun. With Ling Yun, Er's help, the process of refining the 8 saintly, heavenly Tao images was much faster and more effective. A few days later, one of Qin Yun's sacred tribulation gate started trembling. It is about to evolve. This time, the Tao image had evolved into the saintly heavenly Tao image, which was different from before. Previously, he needed an opportunity, but now he didn't. This was mainly because he had devoured the cauldron Tao image. Ling Yun is lying on the bed in a charming and elegant manner. Her lily-white hand is gently caressing Qin Yun's chest, and she said in low voice, "Xiao Yun, the 8 Tao clan's Tao images are very easy to refine. They are clearly very strong, sacred, heavenly Tao images, but they are very easy to devour. Yes, their Tao images are indeed very special." Qin Yun nodded and pinched Ling Yun's charming face. They all have 8 Tao images, and cultivating them is so easy. Of course they are special. If an ordinary person has 8 Tao images, without a heaven-defying opportunity, they would not be able to cultivate them. Ling Yun said with charming smile. Later, if you meet people from the 8 Tao clan, pay attention to their Tao images. If it is suitable, just devour them. Qin Yun shook his head with a smile and said, "If they take the initiative to provoke me, I won't let them off." The 8 Tao clan are very strong. If Qin Yun doesn't use the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation, it would not be easy to kill Zhui Yaofan. Xiao Yun, Sister Shang Yun, said before that when you want to cultivate the next sacred heavenly Tao image, you should go find her. Now that you want to cultivate the divine cauldron Tao image, if you don't go find her, won't she be unhappy? Ling Yun giggled and said, "How are you going to explain it to her?" Qin Yun stroked her lovely and beautiful fairy ears and said with mischievous smile, "I will say, I've been occupied by a rogue fairy like you." While Qin Yun and Ling Yun are flirting, Qin Yun's body suddenly rushed out with divine light. Is the 4th sacred heavenly Tao image coming out? Ling Yun very happily said. Qin Yun let out a long sigh and released the divine tribulation gate. The space on the floor of the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda is very big. After releasing the divine tribulation gate, the gate directly opened. Soon after, a golden cauldron appeared. The new heavenly lion-dragon suppressing cauldron is bright and dazzling. There are 9 mighty heavenly lion heads on the cauldron. They look very lifelike. The cauldron lid has a very large heavenly lion head. The body of the cauldron has 9 heavenly lion carvings. It looks very domineering. 4th sacred heavenly Tao image. Qin Yun controlled the heavenly lion-dragon suppressing cauldron and returned to the divine tribulation gate. Ling Yun also put on her clothes, kissed Qin Yun, and returned to the divine tribulation gate. She wants to help Qin Yun take a look at the heavenly lion-dragon suppressing cauldron. Qin Yun secretly tested the divine tribulation gate, released the divine power of the 4 sacred heavenly Tao images, and condensed them together to form a very strong sacred heaven divine power. If the current me meets someone like Zhui Yaofan again, I can win without using the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Qin Yun can sense that after cultivating the sacred heavenly Tao image, his strength has clearly increased. He estimates that after cultivating the 8th and 9th sacred heavenly Tao images, he will be able to fight against Shen Tianjun. If he wants to fight against a Shen Tianjun like divine King Jiangxian, he might still be a bit lacking. But against an ordinary Shen Tianjun, there won't be any problem. Qin Yun asked the Star God about the Star Dome Divine Mirror situation. It is still evolving. The Star Dome Divine Mirror has been in the hands of the Divine Star Emperor for many years, but they don't have a Star God Divine Throne, so their research on the Star Dome Divine Mirror is not very thorough. Now that the Star Dome Divine Mirror is in the hands of the Star God, it is like it has been reborn. With the help of the Star God, it is evolving. Qin Yun walked out of the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda and looked all around. There's no one around. He has been cultivating with Ling Yun for the past 2 to 3 days. He thought that the 8 Tao emperors would send people to keep an eye on the star-domed divine mirror. But there is not a single person. Strange? What is going on? There is no movement from the divine sun heavenly beasts. Their lair is being attacked. Qin Yun is very puzzled, because it is reasonable to say that the lair of the divine sun heavenly beasts has been attacked for a few days. They should have already sensed it and should have counterattacked those powers. But the entire purple sun heavenly island is still very calm. There are no waves. Qin Yun stored away the 9 sun heaven raising pagoda and rushed towards the central area. If the purple sun heavenly island was really destroyed because of the war, then there's a high chance that there's a nether sun in the center. Qin Yun plans to devour the nether sun and let the nether sun Tao image evolve into the sacred heavenly Tao image. Just as Qin Yun was rushing over, he suddenly sensed someone flying towards him. He promptly opened his heavenly eye and looked at the sky behind him. He saw a graceful and beautiful figure appear. It is a woman with a white face covered and wearing a white tight-fitting outfit. This woman is very beautiful. Just her eyes are filled with an indescribable blurry autumn ripple. Just looking at it makes one feel intoxicated. Of course, Qin Yun is the only man who can see this woman's charming side. It can be said that her charming and tender feelings were born for Qin Yun. Sister Shuyan. Qin Yun is very shocked. One of the 9 sun divine maidens, Lui Wei Shuyan, has actually appeared here. Lui Wei Shuyan is still a slaughter god. She has been going back and forth between Myriad World's divine moon and Myriad World's divine court. Xiao Yun. Lui Wei Shuyan floated down gracefully. The descent of this divine maiden is extremely breathtaking. She landed in front of Qin Yun and took off her veil. That dreamlike, exceptional beauty caused Qin Yun to be somewhat dumbstruck. Lui Wei Shuyan gently hugged Qin Yun's waist and smiled. Her beautiful eyes flickered with charming ripples, overflowing with charm. Sister Shuyan, I missed you. Why are you here? Qin Yun hugged this dreamlike, exceptionally beautiful and charming woman. I also missed you. Lui Wei Shuyan tightly hugged Qin Yun and kissed him for a while. After kissing, the two of them held hands and walked towards the center of purple sun heavenly island. Xiao Yun, I came here this time to enter the outer boundary. Lui Wei Shuyan faintly sighed. I don't know how long I'll be gone to the outer boundary. Qin Yun is startled. The first time he heard about 9 sun divine maidens' outer boundary, it was Divine Sky Race's Shun Ruoming who told him. Shun Ruoming's original meaning was that if 9 sun divine maiden entered the outer boundary, there would be a great change. It would most likely be an emotional change. Sister Shuyan, what exactly are you going to experience in the outer boundary? Qin Yun promptly hugged Lui Wei Shuyan. He is very worried in his heart. Don't worry, we won't leave you. Lui Wei Shuyan giggled. Her laughter is very mischievous and charming. Qin Yun can't help but caress her dreamlike, beautiful face. He said with slight frown, Myriad Heaven's divine moon wants to enter the outer boundary. Do you also want to enter the outer boundary? Lui Wei Shuyan said with smile. You don't need to worry about Myriad Heaven's divine moon. The reason why we didn't tell you is because we can handle it. And you, our great divine king, your matter is even more important. Then what exactly is your outer boundary? Are you going to become Tao gods? Qin Yun asked. After we enter the outer boundary, we might become divine heaven monarch. Lui Wei Shuyan looked at the distant sky. The direction she is looking at is precisely the location of the 3rd Myriad Heaven's divine Sunday divine heaven monarch. Qin Yun said with smile. If you become divine heaven monarch, you might be stronger than me. Lui Wei Shuyan said with light smile. If we are not stronger than you, how can we protect you? Protecting you is also our mission. Sister Shuyan, could it be that you came to this island to enter the outer boundary? Qin Yun suddenly thought of something. Not really. I passed by here and found out that you were on the island, so I came to take a look. Lui Wei Shuyan said, My outer boundary is inside the divine sun. Although Qin Yun can roughly guess, he is still greatly shocked. Yueme is ranked first. She has already entered the ancestral divine sun. Yuelon is ranked second. She has entered the 20th myriad heavens divine sun. I am ranked third. Now I want to enter the third myriad heavens divine sun. Lui Shuyan lightly frowned and said, originally, we wanted to wait for all 9 myriad heavens divine sun to appear before we can go to the outer boundary together. However, a sudden change occurred, so we moved it forward. Chapter 2404. Qin Yun originally wanted to enter the third universe divine sun, but now that he knows Lu Shuyan wants to go in, he doesn't know if he should continue or not. Sister Shuyan, what is inside the third universe divine sun? Can I go in? Qin Yun asked. I heard that cultivating inside can allow one to advance by leaps and bounds. Lu Shuyan shook her head. I also don't know, but I can definitely go in. If others want to go in, it will be very difficult. All right, I will see the situation first, Qin Yun said with a smile. I still want to go in and take a look. Lu Shuyan looked ahead and said, Xiao Yun, if you go in, you must be careful. It might be very dangerous because outside the myriad world's divine sun, there will be a large number of divine sun heavenly beasts patrolling. Qin Yun suddenly understood why the divine sun heavenly beasts left and never returned. So it is to protect the myriad world's divine Sunday. The other 2 myriad worlds divine sun might also be in the same situation. Sister Shuyan, the nest of the divine sun heavenly beast, is being besieged. Qin Yun simply explained the situation to Lu Shuyan. Lu Shuyan frowned and said, Xiao Yun, it's too dangerous here. That heavenly emperor is very strong. You better not meet him now. The central region is being besieged by many heavenly lords. With Qin Yun's current cultivation, once he is discovered, the one who will be besieged will be him. What is going on with the heavenly emperor? Sister Shuyan, how much do you know about this emperor? Qin Yun feels that 9-sun divine maiden must know a bit about this. The heavenly emperor's past life was the 9-heaven emperor. He once sent an envoy to divine moon to propose to Yu Shangyun. When Yu Shangyun was in the 9 heavens, she was a 9 heavens goddess. She more or less knows about this emperor. She knows that he is very strong. Lu Shuyan said, this guy originally only had 9 Tao images, but after he died, he was reborn in the heavenly god Desolate and had 10 Tao images. This bastard is also a 10 Tao image person. What? Qin Yun is very shocked. So you must be careful. Although the heavens venerables obtained the inheritance of the 9th heavens venerables and even ate the 9th heavens venerables body, the two can be said to be completely different. Lu Shuyan said, I don't know much about this person's situation. Qin Yun said, I know that this guy is in a rather weak stage. Now is the best time to kill him. Although Qin Yun looked calm, he felt an unprecedented sense of danger in his heart. The main reason was because he knew that there were 10 Tao images of the supremacy sovereigns. There were people with 10 images in the past, but none of them lived long, unable to mature. That Empyrean sovereign was different. He might be at the Tao God realm or the Divine Lord realm. Such a fellow was even born in the Divine Desolate, so he posed a great threat to Qin Yun. Lu Shuyan shook her head, then tightly held Qin Yun's hand and warned, Xiao Yun, you must not go look for that guy. It is too dangerous. I know. He did want to kill the Empyrean supremacies, but he also knew that it would be very dangerous. Therefore, he did not plan on taking action immediately. I'm going to the third myriad realm's divine Sunday, Li Violet Sun Heavenly Island, as soon as possible. Lu Shuyan suddenly looked at Qin Yun with coquettish eyes that are as tender as water. Her dreamy and beautiful eyes are filled with a soul-stealing charm. Xiao Yun, I might be gone for a very long time. Can you spend more time with me before I leave? Talk to me, hug me, pinch me, and kiss me. The beauty's delicate lily-white hands hooked around Qin Yun's neck. Her eyes blurred as she looked at her handsome lover. Qin Yun smiled and caressed the beauty's face. Then he released the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda, carried the beauty horizontally, and walked into the pagoda. Inside the pagoda, Qin Yun and Lu Yushuyan are playing affectionately before parting. They are very happy, causing the two of them to be intoxicated. They almost forgot that they are on a very dangerous island. After an unknown period of time, they reluctantly parted. Qin Yun looked at Lu Yushuyan flying towards the myriad realm's divine sun and couldn't help but recall their wonderful reunion. He lightly sighed in his heart. Sister Shuyan, you must return safely. He stored away the 9-sun heaven-raising pagoda and continued towards the central region. Lu Yushuyan told him to stay away from trouble and quickly leave the island. However, he has no intention of leaving. The purple sun elf race is still here. The elf emperor will definitely go and help the divine sun heavenly beast. Qin Yun feels guilty towards the purple sun elf race, so he must go and take a look. If the purple sun elf race is in danger, he can think of a way to help them. Furthermore, Qin Yun is not willing to let the evil people succeed. Although Divine King Jiang Xian, Heavenly Demon Divine King, 8 Dao race, and Dual Devil race come from different god realms because they are all extremely evil, they came together. Especially Divine King Jiang Xian. He looks like a proper person, but even his son Jiang Jiuquan is afraid of him. Although I am not their match right now, it is not a problem for me to ruin their good deeds. Qin Yun increased his speed and flew towards the central region. Not long after, he heard a burst of loud noise and entered a region filled with violent winds. Sand and dust flew everywhere in this region, occasionally creating an incomparably shocking sandstorm. The sandstorm blotted out the sky and covered the earth, bringing along fierce and berserk lightning that rushed out wave after wave. Facing this kind of sandstorm, if it was someone with a slightly weaker cultivation, they would not be able to withstand a few waves and would be seriously injured. And at this moment, Qin Yun is also traversing through the sandstorm. From time to time, his body would be bombarded by violent lightning, but to him, it was only a little bit of pain. He didn't even try to block the violent lightning. Instead, he increased his speed and advanced forward as if he was facing the wind and breaking through the waves. After his flying speed increased, a golden bubble appeared around Qin Yun's body, able to scatter the violent lightning that came crashing down. There are so many storms. Is it because a great battle broke out in front? Ling Yun said, could it be that they have attacked the central region? The great formation in the central region might have been set up with the help of the myriad realms' divine Sunday. It definitely won't be that easy to break through. Qin Yun is very certain that the myriad realms' divine sun can indeed help in setting up formations. The great formations set up are all naturally formed. For example, the formation of the 100,000 Sword Mountain is impossible without the help of the myriad realms' divine Sunday. There's a very strong purple sun divine power. Could it be that the purple sun fairies are participating in the battle? Qin Yun said with a frown. Jiang Jiuquan previously said that the experts of those few powers are unable to break through the barrier. Only the dual devil race's devil arrow insects can enter. Logically speaking, it's impossible for them to cause such a huge commotion. Then there is only one possibility. The purple sun fairies are fighting. Not long after, Qin Yun finally broke through a few violent sandstorms and saw the central region of the island. The lair of the divine sun heavenly beast is a very spacious plain. At a glance, there is no divine sun heavenly beast inside. However, this spacious plain was surrounded by many thick golden formation pillars. They formed a powerful barrier that protected the plain. Qin Yun guessed that the beast egg is most likely buried underground. Outside the barrier, there are hundreds of purple-haired fairies fighting fiercely with thousands of dual devil race people, setting off waves of violent energy. They really started fighting. Qin Yun immediately opened his heavenly eye and searched for others. Very quickly, he saw the figures of Divine King Jiang Xian and Heavenly Demon Divine King. They brought their own people and hid in the distance to watch. They did not participate in the battle. The 8 Dao race emperors are the same. They brought thousands of powerful clansmen and watched the battle between the Purple Sun fairies and the dual devil race people from afar. They did not have any intention of taking action. The Purple Sun fairies don't have many people who can fight because nearly half of them have returned to the divine universe Purple Sun Mountain. The Elf Emperor only left 200 to 300 elites by his side, and they're now fighting against the dual devil race people. Qin Yun is looking for the Sovereign Emperors. To him, this is the greatest threat. If the Sovereign Emperors really have 10 images, then Qin Yun would no longer think that he is the heavenly Tao, because the Sovereign Emperors are also very likely to grow into the heavenly Tao. Boss Dongfang, Boss Gongsun, and Bustling who are all gathered together, floating high in the sky to watch the battle. They are here to watch the show and see the situation of the Purple Sun Heavenly Island. They have no intention of participating. Qin Yun looked around, but did not find the Sovereign Emperors. This made him even more anxious. Whatever, let's go help the Elf Emperor first. Qin Yun released the Sky Universe Overlord. After the Sky Universe Overlord grew, it reached a height of 20 to 30 meters. It looked like a huge divine martial god. Its skin is purplish red, and its entire body is surging with purple gas. It is wearing a dark blue crystal armor, and the mighty dragon helmet looks even more domineering. After the Overlord appeared, its 2 dragon claw-like legs stomped on the ground and let out a loud dragon roar. Qin Yun released his sun-suppressing divine arrow as the Overlord's weapon. The Sky Universe Overlord suddenly appeared, and the divine universe purple energy on his body is very strong. This caused everyone present to be extremely shocked. The Sky Universe Overlord rarely shows himself, so not many people recognize him. Moreover, he is in the Purple Sun Heavenly Island, so no one suspects that he is Qin Yun. It is very normal for a huge guy covered in divine universe purple energy to appear in the Purple Sun Heavenly Island. Qin Yun is at the heart of the Sky Universe Overlord. This is the center of energy circulation. He is controlling the heavenly universe Divine Sun and Divine Universe Purple Sun's power to transfer out. The heavenly universe Divine Sun can strengthen the blue crystal armor's defense, and the Divine Universe Purple Sun's power can strengthen the Sky Universe Overlord's attack power and muscle strength. Quickly release the Devil Arrow Rope, the 2 Devil Race Emperors shouted. The 2 Devil Race Emperors are now fighting the Elf Emperor. The Elf Emperor is not only fighting the 2 Devil Race Emperors, the other 2 Devil Race Divine Heaven Monarchs are also attacking the Elf Emperor. The Elf Emperor can fight 1 against 3 Divine Heaven Monarchs. His strength is indeed very strong. The Sky Universe Overlord suddenly appeared in the middle of the 2 Devil Army. These 2 Devil Army kept spitting out Devil Arrow insects, which brought great pressure to the Purple Sun Elves. The Sky Universe Overlord landed in the middle of the 2 Devil Army. The sun-suppressing divine arrow suddenly became more than 100 meters long and swept across the ground. Chapter 2405. By controlling the Empyrean Overlord, Qin Yun sucked a large number of weaker dual fiend clansmen onto the sun-suppressing divine arrow. After the sun-suppressing divine arrow devoured the energy of the 2 devils, it condensed an extremely strong and terrifying berserk power that could explode at any time. Although the group of dual devils that Qin Yun killed was not strong, the large number of devil arrow insects they released gave the Purple Sun Elves a great deal of pressure. Now, at least 2,000 devilmen have been killed by Qin Yun. The pressure on the fairies has been greatly reduced. As for godly monarch Jiang Xian and company, who were watching from afar, they released their powerful psyche powers to probe Qin Yun's Sky Cosmic Overlord. Qin Yun's Overlord puppet took many years and used a large amount of materials to refine. When it was first refined, it was named Divine Universe Overlord. Later on, Qin Yun obtained the Heaven Cosmic Divine Sunday. He felt that the Heaven Cosmic Divine Sun could be used with the Overlord, making it even more powerful. Therefore, He changed its name to Heaven Cosmic Overlord. Boss Dongfang and the others were also very curious about this overlord, because the overlord's defense was very strong, especially the dark blue crystal armor on his body. The divine power that was released was the power of the divine sun of the universe. Many people were familiar with the blue divine sun of the universe, especially the experts from the nine heavens. Above the nine heavens, there was also a celestial divine sun. On the overlord's body, in addition to the celestial divine sun power, there was also the purple sun divine power. The purplish-red skin was formed because of the purple sun divine power. In the nine yang divine spirit, the overlord would sometimes go to the divine universe purple sun day. However, he mainly cultivated in the heavenly universe divine sun day. The celestial divine sun's divine power was more suitable for defense, while the purple sun's divine power was more suitable for offense. At this moment, a large number of devil arrow insects attacked the sky universe overlord from all directions. Qin Yun transferred the celestial universe divine sun's divine power into the overlord's body. The blue crystal armor spewed out intense blue divine light. Roar! The tyrant let out a furious roar, and his body shone with divine light like a divine sun in the sky. God Monarch Jiang Xian, Sky Fei Divine King, and the others from the nine heavens were shocked when they saw the intense divine sunlight. Qin Yun only had a basic understanding of the heaven cosmic divine sun, but he could already use a portion of its divine power. Just a tiny portion of the heaven cosmic divine sun's power was able to produce such immense might. If the heaven cosmic divine sun were to mature, coupled with Qin Yun's improved control over it, its might would be unimaginable. A large number of devil arrow insects were directly obliterated by the powerful blue rays of light, turning into mist and dissipating. The black arrow in the overlord's hand was like a spear. It had absorbed a lot of powerful energy from the dual demons, and it swept out once again. The dual devils were locked onto by Qin Yun's powerful mental power. Even though they were hundreds of feet away from the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they were still sent flying by the powerful suction force. Once their bodies came into contact with the sun-suppressing divine arrow, they would immediately shrivel up and fall to the ground like dried corpses. The sky universe overlord gripped the gigantic sun-suppressing divine arrow in his hand and spun on the spot like a gale sweeping away fallen leaves. In just a few blinks of an eye, a large number of dual devil men had been killed. Out of the thousands of dual demon cultivators, only a few hundred remained. One must know that the reason why the two demons were able to suppress the purple sun elf race was because they had the advantage in numbers. A few heavenly lords were fighting against a single elf sovereign. Another reason was because of their torrential rain of devil arrow insects to interfere. At this moment, there are only a few hundred devil cultivators left. They have no advantage in numbers and no devil arrow insects to interfere with the purple sun elf race. This damn big guy. The dual devil race emperor's eyes are completely red. They looked at the sky universe overlord and shouted in anger. Friends, are you still not going to help? The dual devil race emperor said this to divine King Jiang Xian and others. If the dual devil race continues to fight, they will not be able to defeat the purple sun elf race. The other factions are also rather apprehensive towards the purple sun elf race. If they join hands to attack the purple sun elf race, they can indeed win, but they will also suffer great losses. None of them want to lose, not to mention the sudden appearance of the overlord. Moreover, they are attacking the lair of the divine sun heavenly beasts. If they defeat the purple sun elf race and suffer great losses, they will face the encirclement of the returning divine sun heavenly beasts. Then they will definitely be completely annihilated. After thinking about it, they have a tacit understanding to not make a move and just watch from the side. Retreat. The dual devil race emperors are incomparably furious. They let out heaven-shaking and earth-shaking roars. You can also see through the thoughts of the 8 Dao race emperors, Divine King Jiang Xian and Heavenly Demon Divine King. He knows that he's been sold out. The dual devil race emperors immediately brought a few divine heavenly monarchs and are retreating. The purple sun elf race can't kill living beings, and most they can heavily injure the dual devil cultivators. Therefore, it is very easy for the dual devil cultivators to retreat. Want to run? Qin Yun sneered in his heart. His sun-suppressing divine arrow has devoured so many dual devil cultivators. Now it is time for it to erupt. The small group of dual devil cultivators promptly left the battle and gathered together, distancing themselves from the purple sun elf race. The purple sun elf race did not chase after them. Instead, they continued to stay there. At this moment, Qin Yun controlled the overlord to tightly grasp the sun-suppressing divine arrow and vigorously thrust it at the group of dual devil cultivators. The sun-suppressing divine arrow flew out. When it flew out, a gale suddenly rose from all directions. A large amount of white light mist surged over and crazily rushed into the sun-suppressing divine arrow. The sun-suppressing divine arrow had already devoured a large amount of energy, and now that it flew out, it is crazily devouring the divine sun power of the heaven and earth. It has to be known that this is the purple sun heavenly island. It is located in the vicinity of the myriad realms divine Sunday. The sun-suppressing divine arrow has some kind of relationship with the myriad realms divine sun, so the devouring of the divine sun power is extremely fast. The sun-suppressing divine arrow pierced forward and exploded with a monstrous pressure. The space in all directions surged and fluctuated violently, creating surging ripples. This arrow pierced forward like an incomparably huge beam of light. Like a ferocious lightning bolt that split the sky, it instantly pierced through the group of dual devil cultivators. The instant the sun-suppressing divine arrow swept past the hundreds of dual devil cultivators, it suddenly exploded with the energy that it had been accumulating for a long time. The explosive sound was as if the world was collapsing. The sound wave vibrated. It was as if the heavens were roaring. The energy that exploded out is even more shocking. The intense light that exploded out from the center made it impossible for people to see what was happening. After the loud sound and the shock wave, a berserk energy wave surged in all directions. It is unknown whether the hundreds of dual devil cultivators are dead or alive. What was shocking was that after the sun-suppressing divine arrow pierced through the twin devils, it continued flying towards God King Jiangxian. Damn it! God King Jiangxian cursed and immediately teleported away. There were quite a few Tao gods beside him, and they were all loyal subordinates that he brought from the nine heavens. Because they couldn't escape that quickly, they were killed in an instant. After killing a few of divine King Jiangxian's subordinates, the sun-suppressing divine arrow finally ran out of energy. It shrunk and quickly returned to Tyrant's hand. The others hurriedly moved away from the overlord, fearing that it would shoot an arrow at them at any time. The reason why that arrow was so powerful was mainly because it had devoured a large number of dual devil cultivators. This was the power of the sun-suppressing divine arrow's 10,000 devour ability. After a while, the world gradually calmed down. Of the hundreds of dual devil cultivator just now, only a few were left. The dual devil race emperors and the 4 Shantan monarch-level dual devil cultivators were not dead yet, and the injuries on their bodies were not very serious. As for the other dual devil cultivator-s, they were all blasted into mist by the incomparably powerful energy just now. From this, it could be seen that Shun Tianjun was much stronger than the Tao God realm. The people of the Tao God realm died without even leaving a trace, but Shun Tianjun was fine. This time, Qin Yun could be considered to be fighting a Shun Tian monarch-level opponent head-on. He also had a preliminary understanding of Shun Tian monarch-level experts. What the hell are you? The dual devil race emperors looked at the tall and valiant overlord from afar. The head on his abdomen and the head on his neck spoke at the same time. Qin Yun did not reply, and instead walked towards the elf emperor. He had also seen that quite a few purple sun elves had been poisoned by the devil arrow insect poison. This poison was very difficult to expel. The purple sun elves could only suppress the poison. It would take a very long time to completely expel it. But to Qin Yun, it was very easy. The elf emperor could tell that the sky universe overlord had no ill intentions. He said, "Are you the guardian of this island?" Qin Yun did not answer. Instead, he waved the sun-suppressing divine arrow and slowly slid it over the hundreds of purple sun elves. It produced a suction force that sucked out the devil arrow insect from their bodies along with all kinds of insect eggs. Although the process is very painful for those purple sun elves, they are very happy in their hearts because their poison is more or less detoxified. With a bit of rest, they will be able to completely recover. The dual devil race emperors are even more furious. They are also secretly alarmed. They never expected that those devil arrow insects would be taken away so easily. Everyone present can't see through the sky universe overlord strength. They only know that it is a very strong attack and defense thing. Qin Yun's arrow just now required extremely harsh conditions to appear. Now that it can appear, he didn't continue to attack. He deliberately kept it mysterious in order to intimidate those powerful enemies. Otherwise, if a few powerful Shun Tian monarchs besiege the sky universe overlord, they might suffer heavy injuries. At this moment, many huge light balls suddenly appeared in the sky. These light balls are like huge stars that landed on the plains. There are a total of dozens of light balls that slowly landed on the plains inside the barrier, and then gradually became smaller. Very quickly, they transformed into dozens of tall and sturdy middle-aged men. Seeing this scene, everyone immediately realized that the divine sun heavenly beasts have returned. Or it could be said that these divine sun heavenly beasts have been watching from the outside. Let's go. Divine King Jiangxian ran the fastest. Others also ran like a swarm of bees. They can't afford to provoke the divine sun heavenly beasts. Moreover, this is their territory. Qin Yun thought that the divine sun heavenly beasts would chase after them, but they are surprisingly calm and have no intention of fighting. Many thanks for your help. A middle-aged man walked towards the elf emperor and loudly expressed his thanks. You're welcome, the elf emperor said. We have enmity with the dual devil race. He thought about how dozens of his clansmen were killed, and his heart is filled with grief. Your purple sun elf race can stay here for a long time in the future, the middle-aged man said again. This is allowed by the Beast King and the Myriad Realm's divine sun. The Purple Sun Heavenly Island is considered a second home for the purple sun elf race. They can cultivate here and become stronger. Many thanks, the elf emperor said very gratefully. Those divine sun heavenly beasts didn't say much. They nodded towards the elf emperor and drilled into the ground. The elf emperor looked at the sky universe overlord and said, Thank you very much. Elf emperor, no need to be polite. You must be careful in the future. Don't trust others so easily. Qin Yun secretly sent voice transmission to the elf emperor. Chapter 2406. Qin Yun did not know if he could enter the Myriad Realm's divine yang, but he felt that since he was already here, he had to give it a try. Even if he couldn't enter, he could still observe the situation from the outside, because there might be other opportunities to enter in the future. Qin Yun flew out of Purple Sun Sky Island and entered the thick white fog. After he entered the light mist, he suddenly felt a very powerful aura hidden within the light mist. This made him immediately put up his guard. Very quickly, Qin Yun discovered that these auras belonged to divine sun heavenly beasts. A divine yang heavenly beast body was very big. If it was nearby, it would definitely be easy to discover. But Qin Yun can't see any divine sun heavenly beasts. Even if he uses his heavenly eye, he can't see any huge divine sun heavenly beasts in the surroundings. After flying carefully for a while, he suddenly realized that some of the divine yang heavenly beasts were still outside the Purple Sun Sky Island bubble. However, these divine yang heavenly beasts had all turned into balls of light and were hiding. Previously, there were many balls of light that suddenly descended from the sky and landed on the plains in the center of the violet sun, heavenly island. Then, they turned into human forms, and those people were all transformed from divine sun, heavenly beasts. The divine young heavenly beast did not leave the purple sun, heavenly island. When Qin Yin thought of this, he was even more puzzled. If the divine young heavenly beast hadn't left the island, then why hadn't it appeared before? Only after the two demons left did a small portion of them appear. Could it be that the divine sun, heavenly beast, is not worried that they can break the barrier? Qin Yin thought. It is also possible that the divine sun, heavenly beast, is waiting for an opportunity to attack. Ling Yun said, Xiao Yun, the twin demon race has suffered heavy casualties. In the end, only the two demon race emperors and a few Shantian lords could leave. Do you think that after the dual demon race emperors flew out of the violet sun sky island, they were killed by the divine sun, heavenly beasts? Extremely possible. Qin Yun hurriedly nodded his head and chuckled. These divine sun, heavenly beasts are truly sinister. Even if the divine sun, heavenly beasts did not attack him, he still has to be vigilant. Who knows if the divine sun, heavenly beasts will suddenly attack him? After flying for half a day, Qin Yin finally left the purple sun sky island and did not sense the aura of the divine sun, heavenly beasts anymore. Is it safe? Qin Yin looked ahead and opened his heavenly eye, paying attention to the surroundings. Up ahead was where the myriad realms' divine sun was. If he continued flying, he would be able to reach the edge of the myriad realms' divine sun day. Lui Shuyan had said before that the divine sun, heavenly beast, would protect the myriad realms' divine sun and would not allow anyone to enter and cause trouble. This meant that there were many more divine sun, heavenly beasts near the myriad realms' divine sun day. If Qin Yin wants to enter the myriad realms' divine sun, he needs to face those divine sun, heavenly beasts. If he could get past the divine sun, heavenly beast, as long as he could find a way to pass through the barrier of the myriad world's divine suns, he would be able to enter the interior of the divine sun. Xiao Yuanmei went to the ancestral god sun and is now inside it. Xiao Yualan went to the 20th universe divine Sunday. Lui Shuyan was ranked third among the 9 suns goddess maiden, so the third myriad realms divine sun was hers. Yu Yu is ranked 4th, and the 4th myriad realms divine sun has yet to appear. Xiao Yun, do you think the 40,000th world god sun will appear soon? Ling Yun said, according to the current changes, it might appear very soon. I don't know either. Qin Yin shook his head. If he wants to understand the situation, it would be best to enter the myriad realms divine Sunday. Lui Shuyan did not enter before, so she doesn't know the specific situation. Now that she's inside the myriad realms divine sun, she might know the situation of the 40,000th world god Sunday. As Qin Yin flew, he pondered about the matter of the myriad realms divine Sunday. There will be 9 myriad realms divine suns. This is very certain. However, he doesn't know when they will appear. Just as he was flying, he suddenly came into contact with an extremely dreadful, killing intent. Danger! Qin Yun's heart shook. He suddenly summoned the 9 sun heaven-raising pagoda and quickly entered the pagoda. His cultivation is not high. If he were to face Shan Tianjun, who is 2 levels higher than him, he would definitely not be his match. Therefore, after sensing danger, entering the 9 sun heaven-raising pagoda is the safest choice. Qin Yun entered the 9 sun heaven-raising pagoda and took a deep breath. He has never felt this kind of feeling before. This kind of dreadful sense of crisis is pressing down on him, making him unable to breathe. Only an extremely powerful mental pressure can make him feel this way. Who is it? Qin Yun's expression is solemn. He immediately ruled out God, King Jiangxian, and Heavenly Demon Divine King. Because he has seen these 2 God Kings before, they did not give him this kind of feeling. Although they're also very powerful, they have not reached this level. Just as Qin Yun is wondering who is coming, he suddenly thought of a person. It is the Empyrean sovereigns. He has never seen the Empyrean sovereigns on Purple Sun Heavenly Island. God King Jiang Xian and the others have joined forces with the Empyrean sovereigns. This can't be wrong. This means that the Empyrean sovereigns are definitely on the island. However, the Empyrean sovereigns have never appeared. It is very likely that they have been hiding. Rumble. Just as Qin Yun thought that the Empyrean sovereigns are nearby, the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda is suddenly attacked. The entire pagoda violently trembled. Qin Yun, who is inside the pagoda, nearly fell from the violent tremors. This bastard, Qin Yun cursed in a low voice. It really is the Empyrean sovereigns. This guy is here. Boom boom. Another two loud sounds reverberated in succession. The nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda also emitted many sounds, as if it is about to shatter. Bastard, quickly stop, Qin Yun said angrily. Come out if you have the guts. A wild laughter came from outside. From a voice, it seems to be a youth. The Empyrean sovereigns are babies born by the ninth heaven Empyrean. This baby was born in the Empyrean Desolate, and he even ate the ninth heaven Empyrean Desolate's corpse. After eating the corpse, he immediately grew up, and he also has the ninth heaven Empyrean Desolate's memories. Therefore, this is not an ordinary baby. He inherited all the memories of the ninth heaven Empyrean Desolate and completely grasped all the methods and schemes of that powerful Empyrean Desolate. You are the Empyrean Desolate? Qin Yun said with sneer. You bastard, you finally showed yourself. That's right, I am the Empyrean Desolate. You guess it was me, you have some brains. The Empyrean Desolate laughed loudly and said, Come out and offer up the godly king heavenly seal. I only want your godly king heavenly seal. I have no interest in your dog life and your trash. The godly king heavenly seal was born for me. You want my godly king heavenly seal? How naive, Qin Yun said with a chuckle. Qin Yun, you were also born for me. You are my stepping stone. As long as I capture you, the godly king heavenly seal will be mine. This is a kind of test for me. The Empyrean Desolate's majestic voice spread out. Just by speaking, the sound waves he released caused the entire nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda to violently shake. You're my stepping stone. Because of your appearance, I can become even stronger. Qin Yun also experienced the strength of this Empyrean Desolate. As expected of a super strong divine heaven lord with 10 Tao images. Qin Yun, you also have 10 Tao images, but your 10 Tao images are not orthodox. The Empyrean Desolate said with sneer. Your Tao images are unorthodox. They're not born according to the Tao inheritance. This means that you are not worthy to be the heavenly Tao. Qin Yun's heart trembled. This Empyrean Desolate actually knows about the connection between the 10 Tao images and the heavenly Tao. Whether I am worthy or not is not up to you to decide. Qin Yun coldly groaned and said, Indeed, it is not up to me to decide, because that's how heavenly rules work. My 10 Tao images are born from pure orthodoxies. Each of my Tao images is bestowed by the orthodoxies, and they follow the heavenly rules and orthodoxies. Sovereign monarchs laughed. What about your 10 Tao images? It's all scraps and scraps, it's all messed up. Messy Tao images. Qin Yun tightly clenched his fists and roared. Don't insult my 10 Tao images. When he wanted to use the Star Dome Divine Mirror, Dongfang Bingbing found it strange that he didn't have a Star Tao image. Qin Yun now realized this, but he never despised the 10 Tao images inside his body. It was because this was a Tao image that had accompanied him as he grew up. It could be said that it was born because of him, that it was powerful because of him. It was a part of his life, tightly connected to his soul, passing through his 9 lives and 9 worlds. Heavenly rules and Tao inheritance? I don't believe in these things. It doesn't matter if I'm not the heavenly Tao. I never wanted to be the heavenly Tao. Qin Yun suddenly recalled his mysterious past. The Empyrean Desolate in front of him might be related to his past. Heavenly rules and Tao inheritance is the orthodoxy. It is the rule of the heaven and earth. No one can destroy it. You broke the curse of the 10 images. You have already broken the heavenly rules and Tao inheritance. And I am here to fix you. The Empyrean Desolate said as he crazily attacked the nine-sun heaven-raising pagoda. I broke the curse of the 10 images, so the heavenly rules and Tao inheritance should kill me. But aren't I still alive and well? What heavenly rules and Tao inheritance? That is bullshit, Qin Yun said with sneer. The Empyrean Desolate sneered and said, I am the true heavenly Tao. I am a form of heavenly Tao nirvana rebirth. You broke the heavenly rules and Tao inheritance, so I am here to destroy you. Ha ha ha, this is ridiculous. If you're the true heavenly Tao, why are you barking like a dog outside? If you really obtain the 10 images bestowed by the heavenly rules and Tao inheritance, why do you need my divine king heavenly seal? Qin Yun laughed. I said before, your existence is to test me. You are a tool created by the heavenly rules and Tao inheritance after billions of years. You are equivalent to a puppet with an independent personality. Your purpose is to train me. The Empyrean Desolate sneered and said, At this moment, if you die by my hand, your fate will be fulfilled. Bullshit, Qin Yun shouted angrily. Qin Yun, think carefully about your life, especially your current life. Don't you think it is too carefree? Qin Yun, think carefully about your life, especially your present life. Don't you think it's too carefree? All of this is to make you stronger, to make you think that you are the one chosen by the heavens. All of this is to make you stronger, to make you think that you are the one chosen by the heavens. And your true identity is a tool destined to become my stepping stone. The nine-sun divine maiden will leave you soon. Her true mission is to make you stronger and then become my stepping stone. The Empyrean Desolate laughed madly. His laughter was filled with merciless mockery. Qin Yun's heart shook as if he was struck by lightning. But he quickly calmed down. This is not true. Don't believe him. Ling Yun suddenly shouted. Xiao Yun, well on, and the others' feelings for you are real. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.